Welcome to GoodFlickas, home of the GoodFlickas. Can you take our critiques? We are discussing The Lion King tonight, and it should. And Brian is fully in the mood. Our beautiful little Simba playing the role. I guess that makes Brian the baboon. That's fun.
I'm ready. Who's ready?
As always, I am failing at doing the thing that I'm trying to be doing. So I don't have fun names for great introductions for us tonight. I apologize. Life will get normal. I'll figure it out sometime. You guys keep doing what you're doing and making this show great. I'll catch up eventually. I am Matt. Welcome to GoodFlickas. I'm joined tonight with Brian.
Oh, I just can't wait to be podcasting.
There it is. Lovely. And we are also joined tonight with Jen, who is coming in with the big bowl as per usual. Makes me feel comfortable knowing that we're doing things right. And what is in the bowl? Oh, big mouthful. We'll figure that out later. So we'll move on to Nick, who's also sporting a lovely bowl. Not quite as big, but it's not about.
It's actually a tiny bowl this time. It's a little bowl.
What is in the bowl, Nick?
Well, right now they're half frozen grapes. Red grapes.
Oh, yes, red grapes.
Organic, seedless from Costco.
I think as we learned, it is wiser not to freeze the red grapes. Stick with green grapes. They are delicious.
Yeah.
But yes, and he's busy with his cat right now. It's just so distracting. But we're going to go ahead and keep moving on. So we are discussing The Lion King tonight, which, Jen, before you take another bite, was your pick. So continuing on with animation August, you went with The Lion King. Can you tell us why?
Wait, she didn't say what was in her bowl yet.
Well, she can do that as a mic. She can do whatever she wants.
I'm like, we have to know before we start the why.
It is Jen's night, so she's taking control. Let her have it.
Don't let me have control. I'll just talk about food and we won't get to the movie. So in the bowl, we have chicken, beans, cheese, lettuce, potatoes. And that's it. And then a side tortilla.
Okay.
A little tort on the side. Sounds good.
Yeah. Oh, and the sauce is barbecue sauce and like buffalo sauce, like a spicy mayo.
Oh, there we go. You left out the good stuff almost.
I forgot the sauce. So that's in the bowl. And why I chose this movie, yeah, it's my night. We are all over the place. So why I chose this movie, because, I mean, I felt like there was a challenge when we were going over Finding Nemo, because it was like this Finding Nemo took over Lion King, and I just wanted to set the score straight here on GoodFlickas to see which movie is truly better. Because I don't care about IMDb, awards. It's what we say stands, okay? Any other rating, I don't care.
Fair. I forgot. I remember during the pod, like during the recording, we were talking about the big debate, the big battle of Lion King and Finding Nemo, and I completely forgot that was like motivation for this. So it makes perfect sense, because I remember at the end of last week I was just assuming you were going to go with Finding Dory because it's the sequel and keep it going. But I like that you went the more antagonistic route and was like, no, let's settle this debate now, which is better. So with no further ado, let's hop into it, unless there's anything else you wanted to add, Jen.
Well, I feel like my hair is fitting for this movie. We have the Mufasa mane going on, so did it on purpose, if anybody asks.
Excellent. Looks great.
Yeah.
Did anybody want to go first? I can go first. I have no problems with that. I'm just gonna take it because I want to get it done with. The Lion King, certainly not my first time seeing this, certainly will not be my last. This is just an absolutely incredible movie. It's not one that I watch often, but it is one that I love to watch. It's so good from start to finish. It's honestly incredible. I did a little bit of trivia search on this one, so I'm looking forward to hearing what there is, like what other fun facts we've got for tonight, because this movie's got a lot going on. Just writing down my credits for this movie, holy crap! Half my page was just names, and it's not even actors. It's insane. So looking forward to talking about this one. It's absolute banger of a movie. It's a classic. Yeah, this is going to be a fun one. I don't hand out this score too often, but this one certainly earned it. This is a 5 out of 5. Classic. This movie, I want to complain. I want to have something to complain about, but honestly, I would just find myself looking for a problem for no reason other than to create a problem. So I'm sticking with it. 5 out of 5. This is a great one. It's a classic. Holds up.
Matt, you literally just took all the words out of my mouth. Like, you literally said what I was gonna say verbatim.
Well, I said it.
I just like put air quotes over his and like that be mine, because that's literally what just happened. Well, then I guess I'm going next.
As well.
Oh, I'm not gonna save you. Yeah, you started it. Go for it.
Not my lost for words, because I gotta find new words. No, I haven't seen this movie since I was a kid or teenager at least, and like Matt said, this really is a perfect film. I really can't find anything wrong with it, so much so that I didn't write any notes for this movie. Like, I had no reason to open up my notes and write down something bad or negative or nitpicky about it. And the story is perfect. It's like Disney's perfect cinematic story, and the animation is flawless. It's absolutely amazing. And yeah, this film, also, I don't give these out very often, but this is a 5 out of 5. I probably have only given a 5 to maybe one other film in this entire time I've been here with you guys. But this one for sure is a 5, hands down.
All right. So The Lion King. I saw this when it came out in theaters. So this is definitely not the first time seeing it. It's one of the, even though I was a kid when it came out, if I can look back and I remember that day that I watched it in theaters, and just how much it changed my life just by seeing it on the big screen and everything. I've seen it multiple times. I own it, and it's just been, I mean, it is, the name it says it itself. It truly is just a phenomenal movie. And much with what you guys are saying, it is so hard to find anything to critique it on or pick, find a nitpick or anything. I know we're going to go into great detail about it, but the intro is just hair raising. My forearm hairs just went the minute it fired up. I'm like, oh yeah, it still gets me. And then Zimmer's score just in general was something that really stood out to me on this go around. And the one thing that I really noticed that I didn't notice as a kid was the portrayal of Scar as a villain, and how incredible that performance was, which we'll get into the actor and everything during fun facts. But I mean, so many things just stand out in The Lion King, and I just really look forward to talking about this one with you guys and seeing what GoodFlickas pulls from it. But I'm shocked this is happening. I wasn't even sure if it was going to happen, but I too gave this a 5-star rating. We're 3 out of 4 5s.
Well, we know that Jen obviously hates this movie because
she can't stand it.
The battle between Finding Nemo and The Lion King was always meant to be Finding Nemo. So those were
she gives it a 5. It's a -5.
Yeah, she despises The Lion King.
I did not say that, people. That was
Yes.
those words were
Jen,
not.
as a kid, was never running around singing Lion King songs or having a toy Simba or
No,
no, nothing.
never
Certainly
like that.
not.
No, I did not do the Lion King move, the fight scene on anybody in the household at all. No. Once I learned that, it was game over for everybody. That's how I learned how to fight, was Lion King. So okay, I've seen this movie once or twice. I can't recall ever watching it as an adult. So this was definitely with more open eyes, I would say. And what a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful movie. I don't want to extend this intro any more than I could. So yeah, we have 5-5.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think we've ever had a across the board fives. This
No.
would have to be the highest rated movie we've ever done.
And you know what, guys?
This is it.
movie, all
We've
fives.
never had all fives across the board. This
Ever.
is the highest rated movie.
Let me just say, I called this. I was like, this is gonna be. I was like, once I finished watching it, I was like, this is so much better than Finding Nemo. I was like, and this is gonna be 5 stars all around. I called it. And there we go.
She knew,
My
guys. She
God.
knew.
I kind of
knew it.
predicted it too.
I will be honest though, I was fighting. I was like, do I do like 4.9, 4.8? And I was
No,
like,
you do not. No,
and
you
I
do
looked and I was like, no. At the end of it, I'm like, absolutely not. This is truly what you look for in a 5-star movie.
not.
Just couldn't do it.
Absolutely.
Just couldn't do it.
I'm so excited, you guys. I'm so excited.
I'm just curious though, like Brian, if you gave it a 4.9, what, like, can you tell us later what that would have been like the reason why you would give it a 4.9?
It was more of before I even started the movie, it was more of like I knew it was going to be up there. I knew my rating was going to be up there, but I was like, all right, just look for something and nothing. You just don't find anything. So that's why I was like, I just can't do it.
That's fair.
I mean, the only thing, and this is like super, super beyond nitpicky, but like, are anteaters in Africa because of the fact of when they're doing Can't Wait to Be King, they have anteaters at the top. And I'm like,
I think so.
Do they live there? I don't know.
Yeah. I'm really impressed. This is going to be a great conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's any point in delaying. I know it's going to be impossible to top The Circle of Life and Can You Feel the Love Tonight, but Nick, you're bringing a modern twist to the Lion King, and I mean a better one than the live action. So I'm just not a fan of the live action one. It does not compare. Does not.
Don't bring the mood down, Matt. Don't bring it down.
I'm just
I
saying
thought
you're
the live
gonna
action was good,
bring
though.
our movie wrap in, and you're gonna bring the juice.
I thought the live action was good though. It wasn't a total flop.
It was not a total flop, but it does not hold up.
No.
I feel like it was so hyped up. That's why I was so scared to see Beauty and the Beast live action.
Mm.
No, the live action was that was an absolute flop. Was Aladdin. That just kills me inside.
Yeah.
That absolutely destroys me what they did to that movie.
Yeah.
We might have to pick that because I've never seen it.
I'll be ready. I will be ready to just
I will
Freddy Krueger.
I will say no to no movie. But
Brian might actually give that one a -5.
they're gonna have to earn it.
I want you guys to give a negative rating. You never have.
I'd have to really hate a movie.
Yeah, it's
I'd
gonna
have
be
to really hate a movie to drop it below 0.
same.
I think when I dislike a movie, I'm pretty critical, but I also think that like I try to find something good within. Like it's got to be bad. But
I mean,
Nick, are you ready with the fun fact song?
All right. We got a film called The Lion King. Brian's got fun facts and everything. Piercing fun facts like a nose ring. Punching fun facts like a boxing ring. Singing fun facts like the offspring. Black and yellow fun facts like a bee sting. Steaming fun facts like a hot spring. Marrying fun facts like a diamond ring. Now let's talk about the facts from The Lion King.
Now, I can't give a massive applause for this one, but not bad. It
was good.
It was good. It was, I mean, it was a lot of ing rhymes, and you nailed each one. Personally, I like a little diversity in my rhyme scheme.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of kept the same formula as the previous one.
But you crushed it. You crushed it. It was sounding good. It was sounding good.
Thank you.
There was no hate towards anybody, and I think that's very fitting for this amazing movie.
You know what? I am with you on that, Jen. I kept it positive and light, not political.
Yeah.
I kept it easy, breezy, cover girl with it. So, wow.
Anywho, fun facts. Let's go.
All right. Well, The Lion King comes out in 1994. So what? Oh man, we're like right around the 30-year anniversary, aren't we?
Yeah.
I was one.
Yeah. Wow.
Knocking on the door for 30 years.
My God.
Okay.
Jeez.
The director is Roger. Actually, it was co-directed. So Roger Allers and Rob Minkoff. Roger Allers also was a director of Open Season.
Huh.
And I believe
that one before.
Yeah, I was like, I think we just learned that on the other one too.
I'm Finding Nemo, right?
And then the other one, Rob Minkoff, he obviously directed this one, but he also directed a movie that we've done before called Stuart Little.
Hey, that was my pick.
He's directed the 2003 Haunted Mansion.
Oh.
Which I believe that's the one with Eddie Murphy, if I'm not mistaken.
I like that one. It's fun.
And then he also directed Mr. Peabody and Sherman.
Oh, that's a good movie.
Oh, and he directed Stuart Little too as well. So that's the directors. Now, as far as cast, I learned a lot. Let me tell you. Although I had seen The Lion King several times in my life, I never knew that there were certain actors or actresses that did voiceovers in this movie. And then once I listened to it today, I was like, oh yeah, sure as shit is them. And it just kind of came to me. But so the first one is Matthew Broderick as adult Simba. And if you don't know who that is, that would be Ferris Bueller. Obviously, James Earl Jones is Mufasa. That's a well-known. Jeremy Irons plays Scar. More, we'll talk about him, I'm sure. Then you have this one. Just I had no idea. The voice of Nala, adult Nala, is voiced by Maura Kelly. Does anyone know who that is?
Her name sounds familiar.
Jen, you definitely know who she is. She is Lucas's mother.
Oh.
In One Tree Hill.
Yeah, definitely not.
Oh.
Had no idea until I started to do the research. I thought this was just great. And then you've got anyone know who young Simba is?
Yeah.
Is it JTT or JTT? Yeah.
It's Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Didn't even pick that up until
didn't? Oh man.
Not when I was a kid.
He's got a very unique voice. Like you can tell it's him.
Yeah, I didn't recognize him when I watched it. And again, I don't even remember the last time I watched this movie. It's got to be, well, we're going on 30 years. It's got to be at least 20 years since I've seen this movie. Easily. Whoopi Goldberg, we know about.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Whoopi. Oh, I got one more.
Go for it, because those are just some of those names. I'm like, what?
Cheech Marin.
Oh yeah.
Gotta throw out Cheech. He's also one of the hyenas.
Mm-hmm.
Nathan Lane. I don't think you mentioned Nathan Lane.
No, I didn't.
But Timon, like, you kidding me? Guy is the best. I think the only one which I think you're going to get further into, Jim Cummings, he's voice actor.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything with Jim Cummings, just as fun facts with him, as like he's more of a voice actor, not?
No, I don't think. No, I don't.
If I'm not mistaken, I mean, he has done billions of voices for Disney. The guy is absolutely incredible.
Okay.
But Winnie the Pooh.
Oh,
that's the one. I mean, so many more, but that's the one I want to throw out there is Winnie the Pooh.
All right, so the ratings. Obviously, we already know what GoodFlickas is giving this. The perfect 100, 5 out of 5 star. I wasn't even sure if it was possible. Letterbox gives this one a 4.2 out of 5. IMDb gives it 8.5 out of 10. It's ranked number 38 in the top 250. Roger Ebert. Raj gave this one 3.5 out of 4 stars. And I couldn't believe it.
3.1?
3.5 out of 4 stars.
Just couldn't give it, huh?
And I could have sworn I was like, oh, this is Raj, you gave this a 4 star. I'm gonna pull up
he doesn't like kids movies.
I'm pulling up his review. He had interesting takes that I would like to share to our Pride Rock.
Oh, I don't know about this.
All right. My generation grew up mourning the death of Bambi's mother. Now comes the Lion King with the death of Mufasa, the father of the lion cub who will someday be king. So instantly comparing it to Bambi there.
Not wrong.
The film is in the latest in a series of annual media events from Disney, which with The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and Aladdin reinvented its franchise of animated feature films. The inspiration for these recent films comes from the earliest feature cartoons created by Walt Disney himself, who in movies like Dumbo with the chaining of Mrs. Dumbo and Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs with its wicked stepmother, tapped into primal fears and desires. Later Disney films drifted off into the Neverland of innocuous children's movies, which were harmless but not very exciting. These most recent 4 animated features are once again true family films in that they entertain adults as well as children. And beyond the gently rolling plains of Great Savannah lies a wasteland of bones and ashes. Some of the musical comedy numbers break the mood, although with the exception of Circle of Life and Hakuna Matata, the songs in The Lion King are not as memorable as those in Mermaid and Beauty, meaning Beauty and the Beast. Basically, what we have here is a drama with comedy occasionally lifting the mood.
I think history has proven Raj wrong on this one.
The result is a surprising seriousness. This isn't the mindless romp with cute animals that the ads lead you to expect.
Just because Roger was fooled didn't mean the rest of us were. We knew this was going to be an epic movie.
Raj, I back you up on a lot of things, but this one, buddy, ouch.
I back you up on a lot of things. You're wrong.
Ouch.
I just realized that the two of you were wearing your Pura Vida shirts.
I know. It's the jungle theme.
It is. Okay. It's the Hakuna Matata of Costa Rica. How could I not?
You know what? Fair.
That's funny. I didn't even notice that Jen was wearing a Pura Vida either.
I literally just noticed as I'm staring at the.
Yeah, we're not related.
And I was like,
all right, so budget 45 million. Worldwide gross an impressive
Billions.
$968.5 million.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's impressive.
That's impressive.
It's pretty decent.
That's not even including the nearly 1 billion made in merchandise alone.
I
Oh,
think
the stuffed animals. Oh man.
the
Yep.
stuffed animals, the alarm clocks,
Yeah.
like I had
The
it all.
sheets.
Oh my
mom
God.
still has like my Lion King bedding from when I was a kid.
Yep, that's right. They had Lion King bedding. Burger King did the promo with the Lion King toys and trading cards.
There were trading cards.
Oh, dude, Lion King was we became the jungle. It was just like it was you couldn't avoid it.
You know what's funny? I walked into my room last week after Jin had picked the movie, and I looked at all of my VHSs, and the only one that has like the full cover facing me and is perfectly readable was The Lion King. Like I one that was weird, but I have that was definitely one of my earliest memories of watching movies was The Lion King on VHS.
Oh yeah.
Like, but see, I wasn't big on like the toys and stuff, so like I just wanted to watch the movies. So that one I'm pretty sure got burnt out and we had to get a second copy. Like I I remember watching The Lion King a lot as a kid.
I had a toy Simba. Jen had a toy Nala. I remember that. We used to
I remember
have
the
them
stuff
play with each other, and yeah.
Did they do? I don't remember them ever doing like any Mufasa, like stuffed Mufasas or anything. Maybe.
Oh, I'm sure they did. Yeah.
I remember the little plushies were always just Simba and Nala, and then I think at one point they did Timon and Pumbaa.
Yeah, they had everybody.
Yeah, and then they even had like the not even stuffed animals, but like action figures.
I remember those.
Yeah, you could do like the whole. You could pretty much reenact the entire Lion King with. They had them all. They had Tiny Zazu, Scar, the hyenas. You're like, let's play Lion King, and then your living room becomes the Lion King, and it was just it was unbelievable with the merchandise that they came out with.
Those are the good old days.
Those really were the good old days when you actually had to use your imagination. That's when, like, as kids, you started to battle like how the Lion King really should have ended or gone or
kill Scar. Probably.
Yeah, Mufasa never dies. Okay, yeah. Mufasa lives on this one.
Like creating your own like alternate scenes.
Yeah, seriously.
An alternate universe of the Lion King. I love it.
Oh man. All right. So Oscars, Golden Globes. Oscars, 4 nominees and 2 wins. Nominated for Best Original Song, Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Nominated for Best Original Song, Circle of Life. Best Original Song, Hakuna Matata. And Best Original Score from Mr. Hans Zimmer. Who wants to guess the wins?
Circle of Life.
Circle of Life is a guess. Okay.
I want to say I read a fact about Can You Feel the Love Tonight, so I'm going with Can You Feel the Love Tonight.
Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
I'm gonna say Circle of Life as well, but you said there were 2 wins.
2 wins.
What were the other ones?
Circle of Life, Hakuna Matata, Can You Feel the Love Tonight, Best Score.
I'm gonna go with Best Score. Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
Yeah, Best Score, Circle of Life.
Can You Feel the Love Tonight and Circle of Life.
All right, Matt's the winner. Best Score from Hans Zimmer and Can You Feel the Love Tonight from Elton John.
But they changed the lyrics.
I'm really surprised it wasn't Circle of Life.
Yeah, same.
I know he did change the lyrics. Kind of tricky, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I think if you redo that, I think Circle of Life wins.
Mm-hmm. If they kept it I think the original, like Elton John lyrics, they wouldn't have the same impact.
Yep. I agree. And then your Golden Globes. Golden Globes was once again 4 nominees and 3 wins. Nominated for Best Original Score, Hans Zimmer. Best Original Song, Can You Feel the Love Tonight. Elton John. Best original song, Elton John, The Circle of Life. And best motion picture, The Lion King.
Elton John did The Circle of Life as well.
I guess. I wonder if did he do like an entire soundtrack?
He is the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he is the soundtrack. Zimmer was the score.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I missed what the question was.
I'll say best picture.
Best picture was indeed a Golden Globe winner.
Nice.
And it also won, Hans Zimmer won for best score in the Golden Globes, and Elton John won for Can You Feel the Love Tonight in the Golden Globes.
Wow, I guess Circle of Life didn't get as much love.
No.
I think it's because, I mean, okay, think about The Circle of Life. Although it is a huge, impactful song, how many of the lyrics do you actually know?
All of it except for what they're saying.
Except for the title, yeah.
Except for like the intro.
So you know the actual English part.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good. But when most people think of the Circle of Life, it's normally it's some mimicking of the sound. It's not typically the actual African words.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, but also that's it. I think most people just make the reference and like they know the Circle of Life. The circle, yeah, like they know that, but they don't really know the song. They don't, like, unlike Jen, they don't really know the lyrics.
All I did was sing songs when I was younger.
I don't know the full lyrics, but I probably know, I'd say 80% of Circle of Life.
Okay, Jen, you're gonna be my my scorekeeper on this one. Brian, what are the first English lyrics of Circle of Life?
Hang on.
Yeah, I'll let you get there.
From the day goes by, something. No.
From the day we first arrived on this planet.
On this planet. Okay.
And step into the sun.
The sea. Oh, that's not the sea, it's the sun. Okay, you're right. I don't know. I said 80%.
Brian, you're on the vibe. Like you know it, but you don't know it.
Yeah, you know your own version of it.
And you know what? I could say that about a lot of songs.
Yeah, well,
and that's what I love about you in karaoke. You sing your heart out.
Because I commit to my version.
Yeah, like Brian's is the karaoke version of it.
He sings his heart out with like all his happiness and joy. It's like that's not anything what you say. You know, bro. It's so enjoyable.
And then I just wanted to bring this up in the awards section. It had 43 total wins out of all the awards. If that makes sense.
How many are there total?
Well, it's weird. According to IMDb, it says 43 wins and 35 nominations. So I don't know does that just mean that you're not even nominated, you're just given an award? It would be my guess on some of these, but I mean, take a look at some of the top two, right? You know, Oscars, you're nominated for, you get 2 wins, so you're 50% there. And then Golden Globes, you're nominated for, you get 3 wins, you're 75% there. I mean, this movie is obviously taking a ton of awards, but I thought that was pretty impressive. First and foremost, Elton had to fight for Can You Feel the Love Tonight? He ended up getting a private viewing weeks before the release of The Lion King and noticed that Can You Feel the Love Tonight was not in the movie. And he fought very hard for it to get in the movie and clearly won. So, all right, this is interesting. In early drafts of the script, Scar was actually a rogue lion. So he wasn't even going to be related to Mufasa or Simba or the family. He was just a king hungry lion at that point. And then And then the producers and the screenwriters kind of, hashed out a meeting, and they realized, no, this has got to be more of a family dynamic storyline. And great move, guys. Great move.
I totally agree. I mean, doing just some random lion coming in and taking the kingdom. It's been done in other things where it's like, this guy comes and becomes the king's advisor, and he gets the ear of the king, and then, oh no, there's this tragedy and the king's dead. Well, who's the best fit to fill this place? His advisor, right? Like, turns out it's the advisor that kills him. That works, I think, with humans, but in a world where, these are lions, and it feels weird. It feels weird. But there's a lot of weird things as far as like the fact that these are lions, that once you draw attention to them, it becomes weirder. So let's not get into the dynamics of wildlife.
Yeah.
But I do think that the story is much more, it's a lot stronger that it is a family member. It just doesn't work as well. In my opinion, it just doesn't work if it's some just random guy.
1997, I'm sure we all know this, but it ended up making it to New York for a Broadway show. Sadly, I never saw it.
We saw it in San Francisco.
Huh?
We saw it in San Francisco.
Did we see it?
Yeah.
Oh, what a fan.
Oh my gosh. Really?
I think we know who really loves the lion.
Oh, that's right. We did see it in San Francisco.
We were like on there was like a group tour bus where like grandma went all out.
Oh, that's right, man. I blanket checked that one out of my memory, apparently.
Grandma hooking it up.
Hooking it up. I won a CD. I was like, I never win anything. I was so excited. I won the soundtrack.
Doesn't that feel so good when it's something you really like?
Yeah.
Like you love The Lion King and you win something where it's like, I never win anything. Like it just makes it feel so much better. Like, I'm so happy for you, Jen. Brian, do better.
I know. I really gotta do better. I'm sorry.
You gotta get these memories back. You've been locking them away.
They're gone. Until Jen said that, I was like, oh wait, we did see it in SF.
Yes, we did.
All right, so I found this fact to be very, very interesting. Wait, were you saying something, Nick?
I heard a really loud screech.
I heard it too, but I don't know where it came from. It wasn't here.
Oh, at the pool. Well, if you see my face kind of change, it's because like people are making some weird ass noises outside.
Fair enough.
I found this fact to be very interesting. It turns out that the animators of The Lion King were known as the Disney B team, because the Disney A team, which was I guess more skilled or talented or the top-notch animators, were all addressed to work on a movie called Pocahontas, because they put their cards on the table thinking that Pocahontas was going to be the better movie, and no one would really, and they'd want to see The Lion King, but everyone's going to be all about Pocahontas. So they're like, A team, you do Pocahontas, B team, you do The Lion King, and we'll see what happens.
Hey, good for the underdogs.
I guess a raccoon and like a grandma willow tree just wasn't appealing to most people. Go ahead, Matt.
I just this reminds me of another story from an animation studio that led to one of the greatest animated movies of all time. A little animation studio known as DreamWorks, and a little movie called Shrek. They used to send people to Shrek as a punishment at DreamWorks, and look what it became. Their best seller. Their longest running thing. I talk about circle of life, right? Like history repeats itself.
It's funny you even bring up DreamWorks, because I believe the creator of DreamWorks was Jim Crab something, and this was his final project that he worked on before leaving Disney to start DreamWorks.
I know there was a few Disney animators that left
What was his name?
Disney to
Oh.
start DreamWorks.
I think it's like Jim Kravitz. I'm close.
What was it?
It's like Jim Kravitz or Krafen. I don't know. I'm tip of my tongue.
Let me see if I can pull a name out, but I'd move on.
I'm moving. Yeah, you do that, and I'm moving on. The wildebeest stampede took 3 years to animate. They had to create an entirely different computer program in order for it to function the way that they wanted it to. Because I guess one of the problems that they were having is at one point the wildebeest were running and then they would turn and they would just go through each other like ghosts. And they're like, well, that might be problematic if we go to final with this. So
you said 3 years?
Yeah, 3 years. 3 years to animate.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, how long did the whole film take?
I think it took about 3 years to animate, honestly.
Okay.
Well, wasn't it it was CGI too, right? So like it was computer program. So I think things were still pretty limited at the time, and this is this is pretty close because I want to say Pixar is not too much longer after this with Toy Story.
Yeah, Toy Story is 95.
95. So you're like you were talking about how guys leaving for DreamWorks. It was the same thing with Pixar, right? Like it's people separating from Disney and doing their own things.
Yeah, I forgot where he mentioned it, but in his review, Roger Ebert's review, he talks about the fact that it took him a long time to animate the scene, and then he ended up saying as if you can start making movies based off the computer. And I'm like, oh, Raj, if only you knew 30 years from now, buddy.
See, this just takes me back to my argument about Tron and how it got shafted with awards because computers are cheating. Get out.
It's just so interesting to hear, to like read reviews like that and knowing, where we're at now and what people like. You actually got a flash second look at what was going through Raj's mind at the time. And it's where he was struggling to think that computers could make movies and it would be hand animators for all eternity. We're just drawing. It's so interesting to read stuff like that.
Handimators.
There's always that argument for the purist, right? Of like, this was the way that it was created. This is how it should be done. Anything else is cheating. And it's like, it's not true art. It's not the same. But I mean, if computers have proven anything, it's like they're always improving. And it's just impressive as hell to see what we're capable of. And it's definitely artistic and creative. I mean, to get wildebeest to run for how long as a computer program without them bumping into each other and like causing weird things to happen took 3 years. Like, I mean, to discredit that as like cheating or like not actual effort, can't buy into that, even if I don't like it. Thank God for people who still know how to blend real effects with computer effects. Good.
I mean, I even read one time a long time ago that people complained when paper was invented, that people thought that writing on paper was like too easy or too cheap versus like writing on, stone or dirt or wood or whatever. Like, this paper technology is going to ruin society. And then like, it's with any new medium that comes out, people will complain. And then as time goes on, that medium makes things better.
I think what you're getting at was like when like books, like a printing presses and things became a thing, people were worried that people were just going to spend all of their time reading and not doing things. Much like how people worry about when TV and stuff, like people are just going to sit around watching TV and not actually do anything. It's like you're saying with media, just like as forms of entertainment come out, people are worried.
Who would watch movies week after week and do a movie club? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
We do other things. We get out of the house. We watch movies in theaters.
True.
And in cars.
Now we watch them on phones.
Yeah. We get out and watch our movies. We don't just sit at home anymore.
All right. Did you notice? Got a couple of them on this one. But the first one is Scar's claws are always out.
I read that fact and I paid attention. I was like, they really are always out.
And he's the only lion with claws,
No, they all have claws.
but they don't show it.
They pull.
No, they show Simba.
Yeah, they retract their claws. His never.
Oh, okay. I don't remember seeing because I was looking for it too. I noticed that his claws were definitely always out the entire time. I'm like, yep, there they are.
He is the one whose claws are always out.
Yep.
The others, like when they're fighting and attacking, I can't. What's it called when they not retract but protrude? I don't know.
Protrude.
Yeah, when they extend the claws.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Scar's is the only ones that are just always out.
All right. Zimmer quotes, "This was one of the greatest experiences in his career."
That's why I thought it was Zimmer that got the award when you asked like who won, and it was Can You Feel the Love Tonight and Zimmer. I was like, I read that fact and that was my gut feeling. It was like he loved this so much he put his heart and soul into it.
And what's weird is from doing a little bit more research, it sounded like he was hesitant to do a kids movie, which is so interesting to hear because you're like, okay, well, you've done Pirates already. I forgot, did he do Back to the
Pirates?
Yeah, he did Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, this was in 1994. He did not.
No, I know, but I'm saying like. Again,
You're saying with the surprise of what he's done since.
Correct. And it's like seeing all of the work that he's done already. And then you're like, wait, at one point you were hesitant to do a kids movie. Like, unbelievable. There are possible titles to this movie before The Lion King. The first was King of the Jungle.
Ew.
The second is The King of Kalahari.
Yeah.
So good move on The Lion King, guys.
Yeah. I mean, what was it? King of the Jungle? Like, that's not terrible, but it's not good either. But like,
Yeah, and
Kalahari,
I mean, lions don't live in jungles either. So
yeah, they do.
Safari.
I mean, they go into the jungle.
I refer them like more of like African plain. Is that who I?
Do you have a lady friend in your apartment?
No, that's the cleaning lady.
No. Such a liar.
I've got it blurred.
Wow, and he blurred her.
I know, blurred her out. Hi, Jam.
Right there.
Hello. I can't hear anybody, but hello.
Yes, I have a special guest.
Yeah, you do.
I thought I saw like a shadow on your wall earlier, and I was like, does Matt have a ghost in his apartment?
I do, in fact. But that
No.
is not the ghost.
Matt has his own Nala right now.
Yeah.
I am my own. Oh, are you saying I have my own Nala?
Correct.
Yeah, she pins me all the time.
And she's clearly hunting for you back there.
Jamie's like, hold
She doesn't
up.
even know what we're talking about. She just got one side of the story.
She knows. She knows.
She's clearly hunting for you back there too. So yeah, it works. Where were we? Oh yes. So the screenwriters had a nickname for this one, and they named it Bamblet because it's basically African Hamlet with Bambi, sprinkles of Bambi in the middle. So they called it Bamblet.
It's really messed up.
That was pretty creative.
That
is funny.
I had not heard that is hilarious.
This was and is the highest grossing hand-drawn animated film of all time.
Oh, like to this day?
Not surprising.
Wow.
No one's doing hand-drawn stuff anymore.
Not
It's
really.
crazy.
I will say, going through and watching this one, Nick, you brought it up in your initial thoughts about like how good the animation was. There were so many shots, especially in the opening, that were just gorgeous. I mean, there were so many things, like the scenery, the detail of the animals, everything. It is just beautiful. The lighting that they do, I mean, even the like the racking focus and things that they use. The what is it? The Jaws shot. The the zoom in dolly shot where like
I know what you're talking about. Where they zoom in but go backwards
or forwards, like, and it creates that effect of like the background.
Yes.
Yeah. That, like, I mean, the fact that they're doing those things animated and they look so freaking good, and it's impressive as hell what they did. And damn, it's so good.
Yeah. And their use of colors too. There was a wildlife expert, especially of the African animals, who brought in live animals into the studio so the animators can use them as models. Meaning they had baby lions, teenage lions, and adult lions in the studio.
That's cool.
As models. Go ahead, Matt.
I sorry, this was on the VHS, like I said, because I wore it out. I remember it was the special edition one where like they had the preview at the beginning where it was like showing them like with the like, yeah, we did this, like they're like, it's the preview for the special features after the credits where it shows them drawing and animating and like all of the animals. It wasn't just lions and stuff, like they brought in all kinds of animals. Is insane. And it's just a bunch of a bunch of artists, a bunch of animators are just kind of semicircled around this beast, and they're just having a good old time, just drawing and laughing, and like it's incredible. But it shows that, like I said, that level of detail, it's there.
Oh yeah, the detail was great. Did you notice that there was a hidden Mickey ears on a yellow beetle?
So I had to look for it because I read this fact and I didn't see it, but
it's tough.
I forgot to
it's
look.
very hard to see.
Is it as like spots? That's what I was confused about.
No, it's just like Mickey ears.
It's literally just wearing Mickey ears
on the side. I think it's supposed to be like maybe instead of wings, it has Mickey ears.
Okay. Was it during the scene when Timon was like eating the bugs out of like the logs?
It's one of the scenes where he's like offering, I think, the bug buffet to Simba.
I think I've seen the image before, but like watching it, I've never caught it. I'm gonna see if I can find it and just.
All right, there was an original final fight, and how it was supposed to go down is Simba loses by being thrown off the rock, but survives the fall, and Scar ends up basically diabolically laughing so hard and gets burned in a fire.
I'm sorry. What?
Well, that's boring.
So Simba gets launched off the rock. Scar starts laughing and is distracted by the flames, and then goes up in flames, and then Simba survives.
Did a first grader write that? Like, come on!
I'm really glad they scrapped that idea.
Oh that Scar plans and meditates and manipulates. He's not that stupid.
I'm so glad they scrapped it, because wow, that's a rough ending. Go ahead, Matt.
Oh, sorry.
They're good, Nick. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, it was stupid of what Scar had told Simba, but we'll get to that later.
All right, one, I found the hidden Mickey thing. It's not going to do it with my blurred thing. Doesn't matter. But I found it. It's like in the background and blurry. Like you'd really have to be looking for this thing. But yeah, Nick, you brought up the writers. Like there are 29 writers credited to this movie. I know because I wrote every one of their names down, and I didn't think about it until now. But I'm curious if like the animators got writing credits for building the story. Like I'm curious if any of these writers were actual animators as well. But this
don't
with
know.
that many writers, with that many brains put together, like working on this singular story, I thank God there was that many minds to be like, yeah, this is kind of lame, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's write a better ending. And maybe have the lions have an epic fight since we're gonna set it to fire. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity if you don't do that.
All right. Hakuna Matata was not in the original script.
What a wonderful
And
phrase.
what?
But what a wonderful phrase.
And I guess what happened was they had taken some of the animators had taken a trip to a place in Africa. I can't remember the name of it. Sorry. But they found out that it was a phrase that was actually used in the area that they were visiting. And it's where they got a lot of their ideas for what the plains of Africa in The Lion King would look like. So the only thing that didn't come and it was original was Pride Rock itself. That you won't see anything that looks like Pride Rock. That just came from someone's just imagination. But the rest, like the overall layout, kind of came from this. And when they came back, they're like, "Hey, yeah, they were actually saying this," and they're like, "Hakuna Matata." That's kind of like bibbity boppity boo, and then all of a sudden, there you go. The song is born. So, and they just kind of threw that in there.
Well, I'm glad. That's where research. That's what good research does.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. So apparently, a hyena researcher sued Disney for defamation of character on the way hyenas were portrayed in the film.
Really? Wow.
What's wrong with people?
People are passionate. To be fair, like
I couldn't. I was shocked when I read that. I was like, I'm sorry, you sued Disney for defamation of character of the way the hyenas are being portrayed. So you're completely okay with the talking lions. You have no problem that a bird can talk to lions. All that is fine, but the hyenas, that's who we're suing for. And then next year they go and sued because toys talk too, and God forbid that happens. Like, go ahead, Matt. I'm just on a rant at this point.
I think I get where they're coming from because it's the same argument when Jaws came out, right? Of like, this makes sharks look evil. It makes them look like they're out to eat people. Like it puts them in a bad light and it paints that kind of devil image onto them. And I can see that.
Not the actual story itself. It's people losing their sense of their own thoughts and believing what they want to believe.
But I mean, with the hyenas in this one, it's the same thing, right? And I read something too in the trivia for this where like hyenas are actually like closer knit, more intelligent than some lions. Most lions, like they're even more successful than lions. Like hyenas are much more intelligent than they are portrayed in this movie. So like I get that somebody who's passionate about hyenas would be like, they're nothing like this and you're so wrong. Like I can see it. It's the same reason why people like get upset about any fan fiction and kind of thing, right? Of like, no, that's it's something that you're passionate about and these people are getting it wrong. So I get it. Is it worth suing an animation company for making a cartoon about them? No, I don't think so.
No, they're going for a get rich quick scheme.
Probably.
They saw the steam that it was catching. They're like, oh, I could probably cash in on this.
I could only imagine that like the hyena researcher watching the film, they're just like fast forwarding the movie like to get to the hyena parts. And they're just like,
yeah, jotting down.
They're not
notes.
even watching the movie; they're just critiquing the hyenas.
God. There was a California earthquake that caused the animators to have to finish a lot of their projects in their own homes.
Oh,
They
is
had-
it the Northridge earthquake?
They had to shut down the Disney studios because of the earthquake. And yet they still got the job done.
Yeah, wasn't that the famous Northridge 1994 earthquake? It was like a 6.7.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, no lion roars were actually recorded in this movie.
I still find that hard to believe.
Even with the yawn in the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Not one lion was used for recording. It was all a lot of it was a mix of different animals. One of them, I think, like the big roar was a mix of a grizzly bear, a grizzly bear, an F-17, and something else. I forgot the last one. But
And
it
a
was
seahorse or something.
no, definitely not a seahorse.
No, just like the idea of like a grizzly bear,
All right,
airplane,
Nick is clearly still thinking
sea
Finding
creature.
Nemo. And then Nala's mother does have a name. It's I believe it's in the credits, and I once again Burger King had it on the trading cards, and it is Serafina. Sarafina. My last one. There has been a lot of argument about the title and the cover, like the cover page of The Lion King. Are you guys aware of this?
Oh, yes.
Actually, there's a couple of arguments in The Lion King that are more sexual related. One of them is, and I swear it's bullshit beyond belief, is the one when it's in the sky and it's supposed to, people swear up and down that it says sex in the stars, but it's supposed to say SFX as a shout out to the animators and whatnot, or sound crew. I forgot.
Special effects.
Yeah, special effects. Thank you. Now this one, I'm like, I don't know. It's kind of there, guys. But the title screen has been accused of making it like the lion's face looks like it's a female bent over in a bikini.
The poster. Like I can see it, but it's also like, are you serious? Like you're really grasping at straws here.
I think if no one ever mentioned it and you're just looking at it, you're seeing the lion's face, but the minute someone mentions it, it's one of those, well, now I can't unsee it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't unsee it now. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
It's the same thing like the Little Mermaid VHS cover that had to be redone because there's a penis in the castle.
But that was intentionally done.
Well, true, but there's a lot of weird things like that with animators. So like that's what fuels these arguments of like, yeah, these guys are doing it on purpose.
Yeah, Disney does take a lot of heat for having sexual content in their stuff.
To be fair, they have done it in the past. To be fair, they have done that in the past. Like they have. There's, I want to say, in the Rescuers, there's a version of the VHS that you can actually, like, there's one frame where they're flying on the seagull, and in one of the windows you can see somebody's like watching porn.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's like it's like one frame. There's no way you're gonna find it now. But like there are little things like that where they have snuck stuff in like that. It's a shame, but it has been done. So like I get why people make these arguments. It's like you guys aren't helping yourselves.
Yeah.
Stop making it's okay to put in like little jokes and little Easter eggs and things like that's fine. But when you take it to that level, especially within a kid's movie, you've gone way too far.
Yeah. That's all I got.
That's it for fun facts. Okay. Well, I do think we're at perfect time for a break. So we'll take 5 to 10 minutes. We'll come back and then we will jump into The Lion King and really get this puppy rolling.
No. Let's not do that. It's so weird.
It's too
I'm
fun.
uncomfortable with what's happening here.
Are you sure?
I don't like this. All right, welcome back to GoodFlickas, home of the GoodFlickas. Can you take our critiques? We will be hopping into the very beginning, a very good place to start. And I mean, holy crap, we've already talked a ton about it, but wow, I don't think there's any opening that is as powerful as this one. And my God, the title drop at the end on a literal, like, I mean, it's basically a mic drop, but that literal boom. Like, wow, just so incredible start to finish. Mind blowing. Go ahead, Brian.
Well, I mean, we've been doing this for what, almost 3 years, going on close to 4 years. And I know we always start at the beginning of the movie, but have we done a better beginning than this? It is captivating from the start of the lyrics that no one can ever say. And they hit you with the rising sun of Africa, and then just the animation that's going on this is it's fearless. It is incredible, like the cascading waterfall, the birds going, and the music of Circle of Life is dropping behind, you know, as a needle drop, and it's stunning. I just remember in theater, even as a kid, I was just like, what mastery am I watching right now? It's something I had never seen before. And it's just, I don't know, words just I can't get over it. Even the smaller moments where the first shot of Mufasa standing on that rock, on Pride Rock, it's like, damn, that's the king pose. Like, they just had it. Like, they had it coming in low. He's like looking up over the plane, and I'm just like, well, that's power. And he hasn't even said a word yet. It's just the title, or the intro to this movie just speaks volumes without saying anything. And it's unbelievable. It really is. And I remember I saved this one for this because I knew we were going to talk about it. They completely redid they reanimated the intro once they heard the final 2 Circle of Life. And they're like, oh, we're changing everything. Because at first it was more of like a intro with the intro to character type of introduction. It's like, meet Zazu, meet Mufasa, meet Nala, meet everybody, right? And they're like, scrap it. We're going balls to the wall on this one, guys. And again, just what a move. I can never ever praise the intro to The Lion King enough. And even when they did the live action, it was one of the things that I was looking forward to the most, is seeing how they did the intro to the live action. But just, it's incredible. I think it's one of the most talked about intros of all time.
Legit.
Really well said, G. I mean, I feel like what else can we say about the intro? But the thing that stuck out to me the most was when they're holding up baby Simba. You know, like such this grand day is happening, right? And so this is like the heir, the next one in line, and it's a big deal. But to see Simba's little confused face, it just really stuck out to me. And I thought that was brilliant that they did that, because it brings the childlike innocence into this huge, I don't even know what to call it, like this line of responsibility. But I never had realized that when I was younger. Like seeing how, you know, just how little clueless little Simba was. He's like, "What's up, everybody?" Just stare at me, you know. But I love that they did that. It was really cool. Because I mean, we could talk about the obvious greatness of the intro, which is the music and and just everybody coming together. But I don't know, that part just stuck out to me the most.
Yeah, I'll add to that. I kind of noticed it too when I saw his face. I was like, wait, shouldn't he be happy? And then it quickly dawned on me that he is this child that he's never been exposed to this sort of life before. And it kind of gave me the sense that he has no idea what's ahead of him, right? He's kind of scared, and like you said, confused, but that just shows like the innocence of young children, like at its finest. So I really enjoyed that part too. I'm glad you mentioned it.
Yeah, great to find out too that they redid it to make it what it is now. Just absolutely incredible. For me, what it really boils down to is that the animation is just incredible. How it goes from wide shots to close-ups, from insects to birds to wildebeest to giraffes to elephants. I mean, it flows so incredibly well and beautiful. And the fact that within one shot, I can't remember what's before it, but it goes from you're seeing animals that are walking by, and then it kind of focuses in closer, and now you've got a trail of ants. Like even within the same shot, you've changed focal points, and
Yeah.
you're like all of that. Those things are just so incredible and well thought out, and the lighting, the color, it's incredible. And Brian, you brought up the remake, and I want to say that they made it basically a shot for shot remake of the intro, and they nailed it.
They did.
They did a great job with that intro. I will certainly give them that. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the very first shot of like the Circle of Life, that very first shot that you see at the beginning of the remake, is the only shot that is an actual like picture. Everything else after it is animated. And it was put there to see if anybody would notice. Guarantee you can't tell the difference.
No.
Guarantee you can't. But there's one shot that's a real photo, and everything else is animated and incredible. They did a great job. Go ahead, Brian.
Well, I did have a head scratcher for the intro. Is there like a no fighting rule that's established for presentation day, or how does this work? Because if you think about it, there's a lot of animals that are all gathered together to see Simba presented, but a lot of them are prey. So are we just kind of we just don't fight, and that those are the rules? I wasn't really sure on that part.
Animals only attack other animals when they're hungry.
That's true. Yes.
This is not a feeding moment. This was a ceremony. So okay. it's not that like these guys are like, oh hey, we're gonna be best friends now, but it's like I'm not hunting. They don't hunt each other all of the time. And I think that's kind of the point of the story. Like we're gonna get into it later, but like the big difference between Mufasa and Scar was Scar just allowed the hyenas to overhunt and basically drove all of the herds away from the Pride Lands, leaving no food for anybody. So with Mufasa, like the point is like he's like, it's the circle of life. We don't eat more than we have to, and we don't just kill because we can kill. Like we eat what we need and they eat what they need, and circle of life.
I think there's a no fighting rule established. That's what I've always told myself.
Watch Lion King 1.5. See what kind of insight you can get.
Well, I do think that the ceremony of Simba, like even if there are a bunch of prey there, it's people with animals with differences, they can get together for the same goal, right? They can all be there to support the new future king and put their differences aside, so yeah, maybe there is like a no eat pray today rule or something. and then once the day is over, they all scatter and then resume.
Yeah, I mean, what else can you say about the intro? It's It's perfection.
It's beautiful.
Well, before that, I do love to when the camera is sort of like doing this like circle shot around Simba and Rafiki's hands when he's actually up. They do this like circle shot, and the animation of like animating like death, like animating like a shape. It like I can't imagine having the skill set to do that.
Yeah, it almost felt like a drone was being used, but a drone obviously was not being used.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 100%.
But the animation just they crushed it.
Yep. All right, so it's Brian's favorite part. Now we move on to a scene of the movie, which I honestly I kind of fight myself. I'm just gonna keep going with like when I think of this movie, I do think of the intro. I do think of the Circle of Life. So like it's hard for me to think of anything other than that. Not to say there aren't other scenes that I love and think about, but that's the one.
For me, I was torn between two scenes. I already know we'll talk about the other one, but for me it's always Circle of Life, the intro. You tell me Lion King, that's the thing that instantly comes to mind.
Mine is not that, but it's for a personal reason. And I didn't title it, but I'll just say what the scene is. I won't describe it. I'll just say what so that you know what scene I'm talking about. It's during the Hakuna Matata song, and the three of them they're like bobbing their head left and right on the log, and Simba gets older. Like that clip specifically is the first thing I think of when I think of the Lion King.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotta say it. I gotta say it. It's Long Live the King.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was the other
I
scene
almost picked that one. Yeah.
I did title that one. Is yours titled Long Live the King?
Yeah, because it just gets me every time. I can watch this movie 1,000 times over, and oh my god, I was falling to pieces before it even happened.
I titled it "Will to Break My Heart."
Oh my god, terrible.
It was either that or Stampede on My Emotions. Why don't you?
I did have another scene though too. Can I share it? It's my
You're
night.
the host, so
I know, my night. So yes, I can. So, I'm trying to think of a title, but it's like I want to call it Little Feet. Yeah, I'll call it Little Feet. And it's when Mufasa just saved Nala and Simba, and they're walking, and Simba steps into his father's footprint or paw print. That's another really good scene.
I titled that Walk of Shame.
Can we talk about that one? Just like
Yeah.
on it. Like that, I paid like attention to that moment this time while I was watching, and it's something that the reason one of the reasons I really pushed for this movie being like 5 out of 5 was the nonverbal acting of the animation. Like it's so good. Like that moment where his foot hits that kind of like that low point, and he kind of stumbles of like realizing he stepped into something, and then realizing what it was, and like that moment, then feeling so small, and then feeling guilt, and then continuing forward to have like the talk with his dad. Like it's so good. It's so well done. And then you've got the speech from Mufasa with James Earl Jones. Like, my God, man. Like this guy's voice is like butter. It sounds so good. I mean, it's so smooth. And he has kind of like that deep growl anyway. I'm like, this guy was born to voice a lion. He is a lion. You know, like that's if there were ever a human voice equivalent to a lion's roar, it's James Earl Jones. Like what a perfect fit. Could not have cast better. And just the delivery of the scene of like how, and this was something I almost wanted to nitpick, where he repeats himself of like, you deliberately disobeyed me, but he changes it up. It has a different thing, and he adds more to it, and it has a different delivery. It has a different emotion behind it. And God, who has never felt like Simba being like, I disappointed my dad, right? Like, who has never had that moment? And not even dad, but like parent, right? And God, and what a great way to end, of them being able to like kind of like laugh and have a good time of like, I'm serious, but like I love you. Damn, it's such a good moment. Such a good moment. Go ahead, Brian.
No, I completely agree. I mean, it's why I wrote down the scene as ones that I want to talk about, is not only just, first of all, just how bad Simba, you felt his emotions. You're like, oh man, buddy, you are in the I don't know, the lion house or whatever would be the equivalent of the dog house for them.
Lion's den.
The lion's den,
the lion house.
It's like you are definitely in trouble, and you just felt it. And I also wrote it down because what I took away on this particular watch, we just did Finding Nemo a couple weeks ago, and there was some good like father-son moments, especially with Crush and Squirt. This was such a good father-son moment, and it's just like goals right here. Like, this is the type of parenting that you would strive for if you yourself are a father, and just that dynamic that they had. And you could just see how much Mufasa cared about his son Simba, and more importantly, he admitted to his son, which most fathers I don't think ever do, is that he truly was afraid. And he was afraid because he was afraid he was going to lose Simba. And I'm like, whoa, boy, you guys, they're just dialing it up on the father-son connection, and the scene really works, and I think it's more of an underrated scene.
Yeah,
I'll say too, I do love that that Mufasa does the disciplining and really gets it instilled into Simba that what he did was wrong. But I also love the fact that he like immediately goes into like loving and playful, after that. And I think that's like a perfect father. Like, he's a perfect father.
Well, it's Simba that kind of breaks the ice.
Yes.
Which is the best part. He's like, you know what, Dad, I think the hyenas were even more afraid of you. And then all of a sudden, now we can joke around. Discipline is done. And let's just go back to everything that needed to be said has been said. Go ahead, Jen.
You know what my little self really enjoyed about this scene is that there was discipline, but there is explanation behind it.
Yeah. Good point.
Like, it wasn't just like, don't do that
because I said so.
Yeah. And
end of story.
It's like being brave doesn't mean you go looking for trouble. It's like there's lessons, there's maturity, there's growth available in it. And that spoke volumes.
Yeah, I agree. There's great examples of parenting in this one for sure.
So do we have a winner, Jen? What scene?
I mean, we just jumped into that one, and that one wasn't.
We had others. We had others that we could discuss. Nick, what was yours?
It was the log dancing.
The log, yeah.
Hakuna Matata, yeah.
We can talk about that one real fast because I can see exactly why that would be your scene. It's in every bit of advertising for this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter what trailer or anything. Like if there is a scene that is being shown from The Lion King, it's either Simba being lifted on Pride Rock or it's them bobbing and weaving as they walk across that log.
Well, actually, didn't Disney, the original trailer, didn't they use the intro as just the trailer?
Oh, you mean like the Circle of Life as
Mhm.
their trailer? I
As
know
the
they did it.
full-
I know they
think they
did at
did.
one point. I think it was after it was released, just because like they were like, we don't need to cut this into a trailer. We're just gonna play this opening song, and they're gonna know.
It was like the first time they ever used a scene, like a full scene as the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why would you not? Who's not going to that?
It's like you watch that on TV, right? And then you go into the theater and you're like, oh, like you're not gonna complain. Oh, this was just the trailer, because now you're just experiencing it on the big screen,
Yeah.
and it's like it's even better at that point.
My God, I could imagine like watching that trailer in the theater. Like, it's the first time you're hearing about the Lion King. You know nothing about it. You're in the theater. You're sitting there ready to watch the Little Mermaid or something, right? What I don't know what else came out right before this.
Aladdin, probably.
Aladdin. So you're sitting there ready to watch Aladdin, and then this trailer comes on. What's this?
Yeah.
You watch the whole thing. Your hair starts to stand up. You're getting tingles, and you're like, oh my God, what is this movie?
Yeah.
The Lion King coming next month. Like you were so hyped in that moment, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Oh,
100%.
That intro, like seriously, you said it too. Like I know we're getting right back into what was Brian and I seeing of the intro, but like, yeah,
It's that damn powerful.
it really is. Like I got the chills and stuff too. But Nick, I love the scene. Hakuna Matata is one of the best songs, and it actually it ties into something that I really love about this movie. The singing voices for the lines, that's not the voice actors, which Jonathan Taylor Thomas had a singing voice. That kid was incredible, absolutely phenomenal, and he matched Jonathan Taylor Thomas's speaking voice very well. Like, huge shout out to that kid, because his singing was phenomenal. Great job. Does not get enough praise for what he did in this movie. But also Matthew Broderick, who's also an accomplished Broadway singer. He had a singing double. He had somebody else who's sang the adult Simba parts, and again, matches the voice perfectly. It sounds so good, and it's smooth. And I mean, the end to Hakuna Matata is one of my favorites, where it's just them kind of scatting Hakuna Matata, like all kind of like just them saying Hakuna Matata in all the different ways and things. Like, it's so great, and it's really cool to see that transition. I mentioned Lion King 1.5. They dive a little bit more into like young Simba with Timon and Pumbaa, getting a bit older with Timon and Pumbaa. So like they kind of explore that age a little bit more, those ages a little bit more. So it makes that even more fun when you're seeing him like have this this evolution of getting older with them. It's so good. Go ahead, Nick.
Well, and also too, it's the it is technically a montage of introducing Simba into like the hipster, like laid back, freedom and not being tied to any sort of like government or royalty or whatever. And just the phrase of oh my God. Kuna
Matata.
Kuna Matata. Of like just having no worries for anything that you do. Like really shows like how Simba's character changes going into that world, and then coming back to finish the job essentially. And I just think that the Hakuna Matata scene just really is a big like character arc for Simba. So, but anyway, yeah, but just that one clip of them on the log, like that's the scene for me. Like visually, someone says The Lion King, it's that clip.
Is it during the daytime or nighttime?
Nighttime.
I think it's daytime.
It's the daytime clip that you think of?
Well, when they're on the log. Oh,
it fades
because it's nighttime when he changes, right?
It fades between time. It's all on the log where it's daytime. He's saying, do you like it at the start where it's like morning, and then at the end when it's night?
Okay. I see what you mean. Yeah.
Fucking with you, Ted.
I was like, well, every time it crossfades, it like changes time. Yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying.
I was simply asking if you like the daytime better or the nighttime better.
I like all the time better.
Yeah, I like the log.
Yeah. The log time.
Sorry, Brian. Just
Go ahead,
before you
Brian.
go, as beautiful as the daylight, as like the scenery for that is, when they had the night with the stars and this like the night sky in this movie is
It's
gorgeous,
killer,
gorgeous. Go ahead, Brian. Sorry.
I just wanted to bring up a head scratcher. I think this is a good time to bring it up with the scene that Nick was talking about. And I don't know. It's a tough one. I don't know if we're going to be able to answer it. Do we know the timeline of the Lion King?
This is one of those things that bothers me because it's probably safe to say that reality, the transition of Simba from like cub to adult would probably be about, I mean, at least to adult size would probably take 2 to 3 years. So
I don't know. I really don't know how fast they grow.
They grow fast.
Yeah.
They grow fast. I'm trying to remember how fast like the tigers grew at Six Flags. I mean, within a year, they're pretty damn big. Within 2 years, they're basically full size.
Okay.
So again, they're still very young and they haven't really put on all the bulk and everything yet because they're only 2 years old, but they are big. So that's the tough part for me on this one is like, it's not clear how much time has passes. And it kind of bothers me with the whole, okay, so Timon and Pumbaa are clearly adults and they befriend a cub. We're not going to make it weird, but they befriend a cub who is now an adult. It's like, okay, well, how old are these adult animals now? You know, like those are the little things that I kind of question. So it's like, it's the only thing of like, I don't really understand how the time works, but it's not enough for it to ruin anything for me. It's odd because I don't know how they're calculating time. I could believe that Simba shows up after 2 years and takes out his uncle. Sure.
I'd go with that.
I buy it. Good, Nick.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's no longer than 5 years. Only because I remember when you see Simba's mother towards the end, like you can tell what's her name? Safrani?
Sarabi.
Sarabi. She like looks a little bit older. Like you can kind of tell in her voice and her face, like she looks a little bit older, but it can't be more than like 10 years, like, or more than 5 years. So
she still has a youthful glow.
Well, yeah, but like, you know, it's not like that much older, you know, but you could tell like at least like 2, 3, 4, 5 years have passed.
You know what? I'd be okay with like a 5-year time frame because I think that'd be plenty of time for Scar and the hyenas to overhunt and drive the herds away and
all the vegetation to die out.
Yeah, well, there's
the ground is split, you know, it comes back and you see the ground's like split even more, you know, like there's more like concaves in the ground.
Yeah, it's some rough time. So I'd be okay with like a 5-year time frame.
Yeah, I go with that.
Max. I agree with you. Max of 5 years.
Yeah.
I think I'm more closer to what you were thinking, 2 or 3.
Well, it's so interesting because they don't establish a whole lot because Mufasa seems so wise, like he's been around for so long.
Yeah,
like it's just they do a really good job of developing these characters, like setting them up, but it's just like because you don't have time, like a reference for time. Actually, and this is another thing that I love about this movie. It's an hour and 28 minutes. It's not even an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But it another reason that I'm really fighting, like, I believe that this is a 5-star movie. It takes advantage of every one of those 128 minutes. Not one single frame is wasted. There's not one thing where I'm like, well, that could have been cut. There's not one thing where I'm like, well, I wish they added this. it it's it is perfect. That's what I'm saying with a 5. It's perfect. And I don't know, even like these things that I'll call nitpicks that were kind of going on with like these time things, like it'd just be nice to know. But this is where I think the benefit of like I love Lion King 1.5. When that sequel came out, where it's like Timon and Pumbaa and how they related to their like to this story, like they even with Timon's backstory, he does feel a lot younger. It feels like he's more like college age kind of kid, you know? Like he's just out of college and he's trying to like, yeah, I'm trying to get into the workforce. Like, you know, like he's trying to find his place in the world. And it feels like he still seems young there. And it's gonna be not long after that he meets Timon or he meets Pumbaa and Simba. So I don't know. I think they've done a good job of kind of fixing or you know addressing any of these weird little things with the sequels.
So we've talked about my scene. We've talked about Brian and Matt's with the Circle of Life. Jen, did you talk about yours? The Long Live the King.
Yeah.
Oh, was it 2?
We talked about the first one, but
okay.
Yeah, but I mean, how can you not think of that scene when you hear The Lion King? It's such a gut-wrenching scene, but it's so beautiful. The story, like how they're telling the story, and how, I mean, you see Scar's character being a greedy uncle, and
he's a bad man.
There it is.
You have to wait for the setup. He's a bad man.
And doing like anything.
Bad lion.
And doing anything to get that throne. So much as killing his own brother. And then framing Simba, or not even framing Simba, but just manipulating.
Yeah.
And we talk about the innocence of Simba. That I wanted to punch him in the face, to be honest. Not Simba, Scar.
Yeah, I believe it.
Sorry.
The first few moments where we get to meet Scar are just incredible, and tied with Jeremy Irons' voice. Oh God, he wow, just a perfect villain without being over the top. He got his growl, like I've kind of mocked it with a like the way that he would say stuff, it felt lion-like. It had a growl, but it had bite to it. But then he'd be all snarky and it's like, Zazu, you've made me lose my lunch. You know, like just the arrogance of him. Everything that he did as a voice actor was incredible. But the animators, the face that he makes right before he claws down on Mufasa's paws and does the whole "Long live the king" line, right? Like just the body language, the shadowing, everything that they do to frame him. It's like you want to punch him. You want to punch him right in the face. And then he does and says what he does, and it's heartbreaking. And God, so at the beginning of the stampede, they zoom in. Wow, God, brilliant. Sorry, brilliant filmmaking that I'm realizing right now. At the beginning of the stampede, they do the effect of zooming in on Simba and getting that shot. And then as Mufasa is falling, it's the exact opposite where they pull away. And we're watching, like, it's like we're from Mufasa's point of view. Wow, so good and devastating. It's like those moments of bringing in and pulling away from Simba are done so well and meant for us, the audience, to relate to them in so many ways. Like we feel that panic of the stampede is coming, we got to go. We feel Mufasa falling and devastation. Damn, what a scene. And then the actual fall when he finds him, like, God, everything. And again, in this where, like, again, right, to where not wasting any time, they give us just enough to kill us, of Simba with Mufasa before Scar shows up and does his manipulation and just really sets this movie off. and is chased by the hyenas, and it's high energy again. Like, I mean, the the way that they manage flow and energy in this movie is incredible, and this scene is phenomenal with it. Like, it's so well done from start to finish.
I wanted to go. So I was saying, like, I fell to pieces before the actual like murder happened, and it was just like what Mufasa like endured in the stampede, and the way that I don't know what you call him, but the way it was filmed was really well done, and I just wanted to give a shout out to just the detail that they put into it. They said it took 3 years, and it definitely did not disappoint.
I mean, yeah, this scene is absolutely gut wrenching. The only other things I just want to add to it is I loved how if you haven't seen it before, you almost get rays of hope that it's going to work out. And it's like you know, Simba's hanging on for dear life, and then Mufasa comes down and dodges everything and then gets Simba, and you're like, oh my god, he did it. Screw you, Scar, your plan's going to shit right now. And then he gets knocked over, and we're like, whoa, shit, no, Scar can't win. And then he gets Simba again, and he throws Simba up on top, and you're like, okay, 1 out of 2, we're good. And then you see him start to climb, and you're like, yes, he's gonna make it. And then boom, he gets knocked out again. I'm like, no. And you are just, your emotions are up and down, and tell me you're not at the edge of your damn seat when you're watching it. And then when you finally do think that he leaps up from the freaking stampede like a bullet out of a gun, and you have no idea where he came from, and just climbs up onto the rock, and you've got, again, the use of angles, right? Simba's in the foreground, and you've got Mufasa in the background climbing up, and I'm like, oh, this is too good. It's way too good. And then we already know the detail that you broke down, Matt, but the one added detail that I would love to add is it is so devastating when you see Scar dig his claws into Mufasa, and Mufasa's fear is shown. The pupils, the close-up on Mufasa's pupils are heartbreaking because he knows what's about to happen. It's a scene. It's just, what else can you say about it? Go ahead, Matt.
I lie to myself every time. Like you did the breakdown, and absolutely every time it's like, that's the brilliance of what they did with this, is like, every time it's like, oh, like they're gonna do it. Like, it feels that way. I know how it's gonna end every time, but I lie to myself.
Yeah.
I believe every time I watch this, because it feels like it's you have hope, and then it's ripped away from you. Then you have hope again, and then it's ripped away from you. Like, and you buy into it. It's
yeah,
so well done.
Yeah,
So
every time I see it, I'm always yelling at Mufasa, like, go towards your son. Don't go up, go towards your son. But he never does. He never does, guys.
he never does.
I think I get like preemptive tears when this scene comes on, because it's like, you know what's gonna happen, you know.
Oh, and not to mention, you have Hans Zimmer doing his thing with the score during this one too, where you're just like, not only animation on point, but Zimmer's score is 10 out of 10 at this point. And like, they have that one, it's like, I don't know what the name of it is, but it's like it's an ongoing score throughout the movie, and it seems to be always when there's a Simba Mufasa moment, whether it's post Mufasa, pre Mufasa as alive or post as dead, and it goes like a dun dun na na, and I don't know like exactly what you call it, but it's so beautiful sounding every time it comes up. Like, once you hear it, you'll never not hear it, because it's stunning. And I can't praise Zimmer enough for what he did on the score during not only the entire movie, but especially this scene, because that tone that I was talking about came up when he was mourning the loss of his father. And that is just like, okay, can we get to Hakuna Matata? Because I really need it right now.
We need Elton for the good feels.
I've got like a lightheaded head scratcher, which is what I saved specifically because I knew we were going to talk about this damn wildebeest scene.
Yeah.
Here's my lightheaded scratcher. In case they couldn't have got the voice actor who played Zazu.
Yeah. Rowan Atkinson, Mr. Bean.
Yes. I don't know his name. I forgot to do the research on that, but I only know him by character name.
Yeah.
What would you have guys have thought Jeffrey from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air
Oh.
as either Rafiki or Zazu?
I no, I don't want him as Rafiki. I absolutely love the.
Yeah,
but the man who plays
Who was Jeffrey again?
the butler.
He was the butler. Okay, that's right. Yeah.
as Zazu, I could see it for sure.
Right? I was like, 1994. I just feel like the moment's just right for him.
With the sass and sarcasm, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can see it, but also, I mean, Rowan Atkinson is a phenomenal actor, especially for a guy who's known for being essentially a mime.
Right.
Like he's.
I am not shedding doubt on any voice actors on this movie. It was just me having a little fun with this one.
Yeah, I could see it. I'm with you. Like, if no Rowan Atkinson, if Mr. Bean did not exist, absolutely, I'm all for Jeffrey.
Because we're kind of just talking about voice actors. I found it. I mean, I know we talked about this for Conan, but James Earl Jones, he's the type of actor who typically plays a villain, and
No.
well, as far as I know, like the roles he plays
iconic
in.
villains, yes.
Yeah, okay, that's how I see him as. But for him to play the protagonist, and go up against a villain, like, I don't know, it's like Mufasa. Him playing the voice of Mufasa is perfect, but there are like times when Mufasa does sound a little villainous. Like he's just got that like low, deep.
How
kind
dare
of
you?
Like it's not what he says. It's just like how his how it's said.
No,
I think
if I were to picture James Earl Jones in this movie, like him physically acting, I picture him from The Sandlot. Like, that's the guy where it's like, I'm a little bit intimidating, but then you're gonna get to know me, and we're gonna have a good old time. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Or have
like your first impression would be that.
Have you seen Coming to America?
The live action Lion King version of him.
I mean, his wife his wife in Coming to America is the same actress that did now I can't think of the name. Sarabi, which I find hilarious.
That's funny. That makes Eddie Murphy Simba.
Yeah, it does.
Does that make Arsenio Hall Nala?
Ooh, maybe. Maybe. Oh my god. Lion King, the untold version.
I still need to see Coming to America too, but Nick, do you have any like specific lines or something where you felt like he was coming off villainous? Because I mean, yeah, he's got a deep voice, but I think of him in like Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins, where he's not the world's greatest dad, so he's a little bit off-putting at times, but he never really comes off as mean.
I think it's the scene when he's with the Zazu in the cave and Scar shows up. And Scar and Mufasa are kind of having their dialogue back and forth.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe it's because it is sort of a tense scene, and Mufasa is being very serious in what he's saying. And I guess with villains, like they come off with like a very serious tone. And so I guess because both Scar and Mufasa were both serious in that scene, like they both just have like really good like villainous tones, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way I perceive Mufasa as like his just the sound of his voice, not like his demeanor or context or whatever. I don't know who it was.
I think it's me. I'll just go real quick though. But like I think his line when he does the like "Don't turn your back on me, Scar," like that could come off as maybe villainous, but it's certainly meant to be intimidating. And
yeah.
So like I can see that, but he softens up so quickly after that. So like for me in that scene though, like the vibe I get, and I'm gonna call out some Marvel movies, like I get Thor and Loki vibes where Thor is, he's trying to do the whole like, look, I need like, why can't you just be this good guy? I just do this for me. Like you're my brother. That's all I want. And brother's just not taking it seriously, is like, yeah, whatever, don't give a shit, like it. Those are the types of vibes that I get in that scene where, like you said, Mufasa's trying to be serious and Scar is just not allowing that to happen. And he gets angry, he gets a little bit of aggressive, but by the end of it, how does it end? Is like, how am I going to get through to this guy? Like he still has hope for his brother, and that's what makes his demise so devastating. Like you mentioned the fear in his eyes. It's like he's shocked and betrayed that his brother would do this. Like he never would have seen this coming. He never saw this coming.
I'm really glad I'm not the only one that thought of Thor and Loki.
Oh no.
Like the comparison. Like I'm so glad I'm not alone in that. Because I thought the exact same thing. Especially during that scene. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Go ahead, Jen.
Jinx, you owe me a coast.
I would say that he's not coming off as villainous, but he's definitely coming off as like authority, and that's his role as king. Like at the end of the day, like yeah, they're family, but he is the king, and basically Scar completely disobeyed him and his gathering of like his son. And so, yeah, he came in like, excuse me, but that doesn't make him a villain in any way. That makes him powerful, and that's rightfully, like, he's earned that. He's earned that power. He's earned that authority. That's why he is the king. And then the difference with Scar, like, that is villainous, where he pretends to have authority. He pretends to have power. And like even with the hyenas, he's like making all these fake ass promises to them because he has nothing. He can't do anything. He's not given the right. He hasn't earned the kingdom or even any part of it. Even if he is next in line, like it doesn't really matter. If you're not given that grace, so to speak, then I don't know. I lost it. That was all.
You're fine. I think you guys hit it on the head. Intimidating, I think, is the word that I should have said more than villainous. Intimidating is a better way to describe it. So thank you for that.
That was very well said, John. I do have a question for Nick too, though, because it seems like if I'm understanding correctly, it seems like a lot of your James Earl Jones encounters have been him more on the dark side versus a good guy. Or
I see what you did.
I know. I was like, I see what you did there.
I see what you did there.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen the movie called Field of Dreams?
No.
No? Okay. If you watch that, you're going to see a different type of James Earl Jones, I can promise you. And it might help you get more of like a full picture as to the type of range that he has as an actor, because he is nowhere near villainous. He's just this little goofball, like sidekick, who is just there to cheer on for the field and everything. But it's just, I strongly recommend it to you if you're looking for like a more of a lighthearted James Earl Jones. That's definitely one for you.
You said it's called Field of Dreams?
Yeah, Field of Dreams.
Field of
You've never heard of Field of Dreams?
I've heard of the title, but I don't know anything about it.
I'm just gonna keep silent on this one, guys.
Yeah, I'll keep silent on it too.
Well,
I've added it to my list. So
Yeah,
Nick, this is just another one of those times where and I don't mean this so harshly, but like your ignorance is upsetting to Brian and I at least.
It's not purposeful ignorance.
I know, and that's why we're not harping on it, but like it hurts us a little bit.
I mean, even Jen just quoted quoted the movie, so I know she's seen it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm hoping that kind of helps you with your whole, I guess, like I said, the range that James has is it's really impressive.
He's good. I'm
All
I'm
right.
trying to see like what other movies he was in that you might.
Have you seen Sandlot? Because, well, no, I guess he plays as like he's villain, not villain. I don't, that one's a tough one.
I mean, he's really only in that movie for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, but he lights up the screen. You can't deny it.
That man owns the screen.
All right, well, I would like to do we need a break, or where are we at?
I mean, we could probably do like one more subject, or we could take a break.
Okay. I would like to bring up another scene, and I wrote it down because I feel like this is a scene that not a lot of people talk about, and I don't understand why, because the setup is so damn good, and I didn't get super creative on the title at all. I just called it Be Prepared. But if you really listen to the lyrics and you I mean, listen to the lyrics, watch the tone of the Lion King and how the animators just completely switched up everything on you. It's green, it's dark blue, it's black. Just the color scheme is it's on point. At one point, I don't know if you guys caught it, but during this scene, Scar is on a rock and he's got his army down and they are marching very military like. I'm like, this is Hitler. This is a reference to Adolf Hitler, and that's what they're comparing Scar to. And I mean, the way that the hyenas were walking, it was just like doosh 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 doosh. I was like, this, I didn't notice it until today, but I was like, that is clearly an Adolf Hitler Germany reference. And again, the lyrics, I don't know all the lyrics off the top of my head, but he is just talking about basically just taking over absolutely everything. And, be prepared to get diabolical. And I really praise the scene because I think they did a great job at, I mean, if we already got a taste of, or actually, no, it hasn't happened yet. You're starting to get a taste of exactly how villainous Scar truly is. And it just made me realize when I was watching, I was like, no one really has this scene conversation ever. So I thought, what better place than here?
I got definite North Korea, but I guess that works too for Germany. Yeah. Yeah.
Nazi.
Go ahead, Jen.
When I was younger, this scene would terrify me, which is kind of funny to think because like it's not. I mean, I can watch it now. I was like, okay, it's not that bad, but I was always so scared with this scene, and I'm gonna say this because this is a free space, but I didn't see it as like a physical war, but the spiritual war. I looked at that as literal hell, and Scar with Satan, and the hyenas are his legions of demons. That's how I saw it. 100%.
Yeah.
one, I absolutely love this scene. It's dark and horrific. Like I see why you'd be scared, Jen. But God, it's so well done. Like the moment when he hops down and the green smoke's puffing and he's doing his
Oh yeah,
walk,
that.
like that. I mean, all of that, and like I mean, that's just the start of it, and it gets better and better. And the like you said, like the Nazi connection is obvious and there, but it's such a good scene too. Where I mean, I want to say that the singing is a mix of Jeremy Irons and Jim Cummings. At a certain point, I think Jeremy Irons blew out his voice or something, and Jim Cummings, who's the voice of Pumbaa, filled in and again matches voices perfectly. And it's just like all of it is so good. And yeah, it's as far as villain songs go, this is what I would say is like the start of Disney's like iconic villain songs. You may be able to make an argument for like the Little Mermaid with Ursula.
That's a pretty strong case though.
I think this is the one because it's I mean
no, but also Gaston.
I mean Gaston's song isn't really like a villain song, that's really just an ego song. You know what I mean? Although if you're talking about Kill the Beast, that's it's still that's not even as iconic.
Jafar didn't have one, right? I can't remember now.
But well, that's my point. Like, I mean, this is in my opinion like the start of like the iconic villain songs.
Okay,
and
that's a pretty good case, Matt.
Well, and it's also they've always used green, like that particular green as the color for their villains.
Oh, absolutely. Maleficent.
All of them.
Yeah.
It is that particular green. It's Disney villain. You know the bad guy when that green shows up. And they do such a great job of highlighting this villain, making them feel like a genuine threat, and also making it entertaining and a powerful moment. Like this is the bad guy, we'll just call it in this world, in Lion King world, the ultimate bad guy bent on world domination is singing this song, and you are locked into every second of it. Not that you're supporting him, but you're listening. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, the green was also another reason why I got the comparison to Loki. Like, it's not just Scar's personality, but Loki has kind of the same personality too, but also just the color scheme of that black and green together. I don't know.
He's just not as good of a schemer.
Yeah.
Loki needs to work on his schemes. He's too emotional. He's like, yeah, I want this thing. I'm going to trick people into getting it. But what's the long game here, bud?
Yeah.
I mean, and even Scar says it himself. He fell short of brute strength, but when it comes to brains, he's terrifyingly smart.
Well. He's good. He's good. He's sneaky and evil. That's for sure.
Are we good for a break?
Yeah, I was just about to say, if anybody has anything else they'd like to add. If not, I think it's perfect time for a break. All right.
No, I got my own little lion cubs to feed.
Excellent. Yeah, sounds great. We will take a quick 5 to 10, and we will be back soon.
Do you want to feed them a cub sandwich?
Nice.
If you were like a detective doing like a polygraph test, you'd be like, Hakuna Mufasa, no lion.
What?
I have no idea what that has to do anything with a polygraph.
I have no idea.
Telling a lie,
They're telling you no lion.
Oh my god.
Okay, that was a stretch for a pun, but well done.
No lion. That's literally what, like, come on. No lion.
It is a stretch for a pun, but
That is not a stretch. You're just dumb.
to make that a joke, I get it. Like, whatever. It's a stretch. Anyway, moving on. Welcome back to GoodFlickas. Where we
How'd you like that for a cold opening?
Oh, God, roughness. But welcome back to GoodFlickas, where we are talking about the Lion King. We have been enjoying a fun and we've been really just kind of going in on some scenes, but we haven't really gotten we haven't let ourselves loose yet. And I think now is the time. We've done some nitpicks, we've done some scenes. Does anybody have anything else that they want to like kind of kick off, like something they really want to talk about?
I know we kind of talked about most of the songs, but I don't know why I thought the whole in the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. I thought that was an entire song. I didn't know that was just like a little like a little
It's a real song.
Yeah, but no, I know but I thought it was like a whole musical number in the film.
You thought they sang the whole thing?
Yeah. Like I thought I remembered that as being like a number in the film, but then when they just kind of stopped suddenly, I was like, oh wait, isn't there more? So I was surprised that they did not include the whole song in the film.
I do have a scene.
Yeah.
He lives in you.
Okay.
We talked earlier about how this movie is just great with father-son moments, and this is just another really good father-son moment. And I challenge you to try to find something in life that makes you as happy as Rafiki is when he sees Simba alive and when he knows Simba's alive. It's just, if that doesn't bring you pure joy, are you just dead inside? Like, what? check yourself for a pulse, because all of it is just so good. Rafiki and how excited he is, and then just the monologue between Simba and Mufasa, and how, you know, and not only that, it's like afterlife Mufasa. So as if we haven't make James Earl Jones powerful, let's just make him so powerful that he's now afterlife, like Simba, like listen to me. And it's amazing. And then again, Matt, what you already touched on was just the night sky. It's such a stunning. I mean, it's a great dialogue, but just really gorgeous to look at too. So all in all, I just once again, this is why it's a 5 out of 5 star, because I just can't help but compliment things after things after things. It's just all it is. And it's, what's the best part is it's not boring. It's not like, oh, 5 out of 5 movie. Like it's still a lot to talk about. I mean, this is, to use another Disney reference, this is a diamond in the rough. And it's just, it's incredible. Go ahead, Matt. Sorry,
No, you're good. You brought up Rafiki and like his laugh, and it's like the energy that I know I'm gonna say his last name wrong, but I'm gonna do my best, and I mean it in all due respect. But Robert Gulame, I'm going with Gulame. I really have no idea. I have no idea, but his energy that he brought to Rafiki, like that laugh, like that's why he's so iconic to me. Is like when you brought up Jeffrey as a potential Rafiki or Zazu, I was like I mean, this guy, every time that I see him and stuff, and it hasn't been a lot that I've actually really known this guy, but when he shows up in something, I recognize him and I know him, and he's incredible, phenomenal actor. May he rest in peace. But that laugh, the energy of when he finds out Simba's alive, the leading up to everything of like a squish banana, like all of that, and right up to the moment where like he's got this crazy energy, and then leads him to the pond where he's like, look at your, like, and gets all mystical on him and everything. Like,
so good.
He hits it on every note, but he's hilarious. He's wise. It's so good what he does. And Robert does such an incredible job. So good.
And look hard. Like the way he delivered that line, I was like, oh my God, this is too good.
So good. Did such a great job as Rafiki.
Yeah, one of my favorite Rafiki moments is when he has the realization that Simba is still alive, and he has like a red berry paste or something, and he draws the mane over the Simba like drawing that's on was it a tree or a rock?
It's on a tree.
I think
It's on a tree.
I think it's this tree.
And he just kind of like draws the mane. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, oh man, that's so good. And it's like he knows, and yeah, like he had this like spiritual connection with like the life around him. Yeah, like Rafiki is the OG. He is the man. Like he's awesome. Go ahead.
With that scene, there's actually something I like that they did in the remake. For the live action one, it made more sense of it follows, I think, like Simba's hair, like a puff, like a tuft of hair, and I mean it ends up in all kinds of things. At one point, I think it's being pushed along by a dung beetle.
Yes.
But like the fact that it follows his hair, so like there's a physical connection to Simba for him to draw the conclusion from. I think that was a great addition for live action. But the fact, like, I mean, with the cartoon, it doesn't need it. Like, I mean, that's the beauty of the mysticism of it all. Is like he grabs just these feathers and leaves out of the air, drops it into his tortoiseshell, and he's like, "Oh, so that's what's going on in the world." Fantastic. Wait, is that who I think it is? Simba? Like, it works so well in the cartoon. It's so freaking amazing, and like again, that energy that he brings. But I do love that addition that they made in the live action of updating that scene to feel more realistic. It was a really good call.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I love when movies in general just give you the trail of something. I think I remember. Oh yeah, we just did a movie. I think it was this year. That did the same thing. It was Bullet Train, and they showed like the trail of the water bottle.
Yeah.
It's like things like that. I think it's so creative when they're like, okay, we're gonna do this, but we're also gonna show you the trail that the journey that it goes on from point A to point B. And Matt, you said it best. The cartoon, you don't need your imagination tells you. It's like, cool. Rafiki is the know-all, and he knows what to do now. He even knows when it's time. He even knows when it's the right time. He's like, the timing is now. I'm like, okay, Rafiki, remind me not to mess with you. Go ahead, Nick.
I know we brought up Finding Nemo a couple times, but a similar thing happens when when all the animals are delivering the message.
Yeah.
Across the ocean.
Exactly.
Like to let his to let wait, they were letting Nemo know that what was the message again?
They were just sharing the story of Marlin crossing the
Marlin's journey.
Yeah.
Marlin's tale, I think, is what you called it, right?
Marlin's monologue. No,
Marlin's
montage.
Whale of a Tale.
Oh, montage.
Marlin's montage.
I think Marlin's Whale of a Tale sounds better.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
Marlin's Whale of a Tale.
But yeah, just to bring up another Finding Nemo comparison, just add to your list, Brian. Yeah,
I love it. I love when we connect movies. It's like one of my favorite parts.
Yeah. Finding Nemo wishes it was Lion King. Fact.
Yes.
Anyway, well, yeah. So that was all the stuff I want to talk about. He Lives in You, I think.
Trying to think.
Well, I know the actual like cloud scene where you actually see Mufasa's face like animated in those clouds. I thought that was so impressive.
It was really cool.
So well done. And just the clouds like mystify like around his face, and he's like protruding or like going back or whatever.
Well, even sorry, Matt, just real quick, even when they changed Simba's face to Mufasa's face in the water, how difficult would that have been to hand drawn? That had to have been like insanely hard to be like, okay, I'm going from one lion's face to another lion's face, but it's also in water. Anyone got the calculations for this one?
Yeah, it's water that's already hard to like draw it on its own.
But you have to do the transition. Oh man, these guys are just and the fact that it was an earthquake. So would you do this in your kitchen? Go ahead, Matt.
I was going to bring up at the end of the scene, my favorite part is after Simba has like this moment with his father and the monologue, like the conversation and everything. You get Rafiki kind of like joining Simba and is like, whoo, this weather, weird, right? like nothing happened. But what really gets me is, like the lesson at the end where, Simba's like, oh, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. And just bam, whacks him on the head. And he's like, ow, what'd you do that for? Doesn't matter. It's in the past. Yeah, but it still really hurts. Yes, that's true. Like the past can hurt, but like, God, like so good. And it's like
little Mr. Miyagi going on there.
Oh yeah, so great. Like if we can, so we can either like hold on to it or we can learn from it.
Yep.
Like so, what do we learn from this? Well, first off, I'm going to take your stick. It is such a fun moment to end off of, like with the big moment, right? Like it was heavy. It was a big turning point for a character, and then to bring us right back into Rafiki. Like, I mean, classic Rafiki of just he has got that smile on his face. So good. Go ahead, Jem.
I don't want to downplay this scene. This is such a powerful moment in this movie. And what I like about it is like, because the whole time Simba, he's living the Hakuna Matata life, which is great. But also, I mean, you talk about relating. I mean, you're not going to be able to live your truth in a comfort zone. And Hakuna Matata was just a safety comfort, but it's not who he is. And it was like being able to return to his father to remember who he truly is. And the way that they made it so impactful, it was just beautiful. Again, that's why it's 10 out of 10 movie, 5-star, 10 out of 10, all of the above.
Sorry, you reminded me, like we didn't even talk about the start of this scene where they're stargazing and talking, and like that's such a nice moment. And I love how, again, it's the nonverbal acting of the animation that is so well done, where you can see Simba is like, well, I'm remembering my father and what he told me, and like they're making fun of what it is that he told me, but I still believe it. And it's like, it's like you can see all of the contemplation and confusion and frustrations and things that are going it's all over his face. It's so well done. But so all of that's really great. But what I really wanted to highlight from the beginning is I love that Timon is always the I know everything kind of thing. Like that's his personality. Is like, I know everything, you're dumb, just accept that. What are the stars? Oh yeah, they're fireflies that flew way too high and got stuck
in the blue thing.
And then you've got Pumbaa is like, oh, that makes sense. I always thought it was like balls of gas that were like billions and billions of miles away. And it's just like, I love that Pumbaa is 100% correct, but in this moment, because they don't know any better, like there's little moments in this movie where there's adult humor, especially between Timon and Pumbaa. Like I think when Pumbaa's being attacked, Timon drops the line of like, why am I always having to save your, like they do those moments, and like, it's so freaking great. And that's another fun one that like every time I think of that scene, it always makes me laugh. It always makes me smile thinking about Pumbaa being 100% correct. And Timon just being so like, no, that's dumb. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, no, two things. I love with Timon, I love that he does this like 4 or 5 times. He says, so let me get this straight. Or like, so what I'm hearing is, and he tries to like recap like what is going on, and everyone else is just like, go away. He's definitely got the like New Yorker like personality to him. And I would say the same thing for Pumbaa as well. Like they both got that like New Yorker feel to them. But the second part I wanted to say too is while they're actually under the stars, as soon as I can't remember which of the two said it, but one of them asks like what do the stars mean? And as soon as that line was said, I instantly knew about the callback that with the whole like each star is like the previous, like your ancestors, you know, looking down on you. And I knew that was going to cause some sort of conflict with Simba, even though his, you know, two friends are going to make fun of it, like make fun of that whole idea that Simba was going to have this sort of realization and remember like what the stars in the sky actually mean. Mm-hmm. And then that was going to be sort of the start of the turnaround for him, to kind of go back and save the kingdom. So I just, it was really well played and really well written and well done. Like they added like the comedy side of it and like the seriousness, you know, with the plot and the character, like all in one scene, and they played it off really well. Go ahead, Brian.
One question that I was never able to answer: why does Simba return alone? I've always wondered it.
I do find it strange that he just takes off.
Gone.
Like he has this revelation and just takes off.
Yeah.
But I think it's that moment of like you've got your call to action and there's no time to wait. It's like it was a reactionary thing of like I have to go. I think what's even crazier is that he takes off so much farther ahead of them and they catch him.
I question that too. How did they catch him so fast?
I want to say in Lion King 1.5 they address it somehow or like they acknowledge it, but yeah, it's interesting. Like I don't have a solid answer for why.
And it's one that I've even since I was a kid, I'm like, why you have all your buddies and you're just going out to war solo? Like
it could be a pride thing.
Like a pride rock thing.
Like a pride thing. Like I got to do this by myself, you know, a pride rock thing. Yeah. No, it's probably just pride, like doing it on her own. You know, there's something to be said about that.
Jen, I saw a hand up.
Yeah.
Don't think I didn't see it.
Well, Matt already said it. It's like he had the calling and he realized like, oh, I have responsibilities. It's time to go back. And he's a big boy now. He's good. He's not gonna, you know, he's got to handle this on his own. And because he also still feels like it's his own doing.
But maybe even just let him know you're going. Like,
would you? Like if you were
to be
you had this,
courteous, yeah, I'd say, hey, I got some things I got to handle.
No, after all that you think about it, after all that you went through, staring at your reflection that then becomes your dead father that you think you're responsible for killing, tells you in the sky and the stars to remember who you are, Simba. You've forgotten me because you forgot who you are. And you're gonna be like, I'll hold up. Before I go back and take care of that responsibility, I'm gonna tell these people I'm going back to take care of that responsibility. It's like, that's not gonna matter. You are so zoned in that moment. Of course he just took off. He's handling his business as king.
You make a strong case. You make a strong case.
I don't disagree with that, but what I find strange is, Nala, the whole reason that she's there was like, I found you. You're the person that we need. You're the help that we need. Like the whole reason she's there and even still there is basically to try and get him to go back.
Yeah. So
wouldn't it have made at least a little bit of sense to be like, Nala, I'm ready to go. Like, you're right. It's time to face my destiny. Let's do it. Like again, Jen, I'm with you. I'm not disagreeing. And it's just, I do find it, I just find it strange.
I agree with both you guys.
Yeah,
It's-
I
I'm
agree
just
with both of us too.
Both of you.
I think we're all right. We're all just God's gifts. Okay.
what if we
Not fighting.
compromise? What if he starts booking it and screams what he's doing as he's booking away?
Oh, he did. He did. Rafiki was his voice.
Like, what if he's like, no, I'm going back to Pride Rock, and he's out.
Sorry. Now I'm just imagining like Simba takes off. He makes it like 50 yards. He's like, oh, wait, runs back in Rafiki. He's like, hey, can you let them know that I'm heading to Pride Rock? Cool. And then turns back around and takes off again. Like,
That would be good. Yeah.
that seems so funny to me. But yeah.
Anyway.
All right. All right. I think ready for new scene if anybody's got one.
Knew something.
You know what? I want to pick a new song. We have not talked about I Just Can't Wait to Be King.
Oh.
Yeah.
You brought up the anteaters. Let's dig into this thing.
I just can't wait to be king. Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Yeah. God, I went to Little Mermaid on that one.
Yeah, you now you got a Little Mermaid in my head.
I went to Little because I couldn't remember. That's how it is. I got lost. Go ahead, Jen.
Now, Under the Sea is all I got right now. Thank you.
Jen is talking.
I love it. I love that scene because again, it just showed Simba's so innocent and he knows nothing. You know,
He knows nothing.
He's thinking like to be a king means you get to do whatever you want and you tell people what to do. I mean, it's such like when kids like, oh, I can't wait to be an adult. You know.
Yes.
It's funny. I don't know. It's a fun scene. It's cute. It's really cute.
I really like the analogy.
Very naive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a great comparison. It's absolutely like a kid wanting to like, I can't wait to be big.
Yeah.
It's but it's such a fun scene, and it's absolutely like obviously we can ignore any realism because it's animals stacked on top of other animals and doing like the craziest like thing ever.
100%.
But it's so much fun, and I love how like once the second like the song starts, when it's like boom and like there's the color change. It's like, yes, now we've entered a world where it's like, this is a musical number. We're going to have some fun with this. And they do some really cool stuff, like Simba poking his head through the leaves. So he's got the mane and working on my, like all of it is so good. The lyrics are fun, but it's basically a music video. That's what the scene is. I remember this song coming like on VHSs or even on the Disney Channel. They would just play this song like as if it's a music video. And it's a ton of fun.
It's almost like a flash dance.
A little bit. That's
because it's gone.
Yeah.
Just gone at the end.
I feel so bad for Zazu though, because he's just got that rhino chilling on top of him.
Pardon me, madam.
What always made me laugh is when someone's like, everybody look, the animals' faces crack me up every time. They're just like, their eyes are bulging.
So excited.
These goofy little faces on. It's so funny.
Yeah, Zazu definitely got the short end of the stick on this number. That's for sure. He is getting his ass kicked in this song.
So I think this is another good example of like with I'll call it the baptism. I don't know, the presentation of Simba. That's what it is.
Yeah, the reveal.
The presentation of Simba. Like the reason that there's no animal on animal violence there is like because one, they're not there to hunt. They're there for a reason. Like that's not what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
But like another great example is like look at the watering hole, right? Like they're gonna have predators there. They're gonna have prey there because it's the watering hole. That's where they all go for water. And to be fair, there are animals like alligators and crocodiles and things that would attack from the watering hole. That's a different beast, but like it's these animals are not always trying to kill each other. They're not always out to get each other. Ultimately, the Pride Lands are a functional society that has unseen but necessary aggressions in order for survival. And that's why like Mufasa has that whole speech with Simba about the circle of life. And like when we die, we become the grass and the antelope eat the grass. So it's like they don't necessarily eat us, but they do eat us. Like we provide nutrients for the ground so that they have food to eat. So they have nutrients for them and then we eat them. That's how it goes. And so Can't Wait to Be King. I think it's just another good example of how this, at least the Pride Lands, is a functional ecosystem, and that's how it works. That's why it thrives. And when Scar takes over, he destroys that ecosystem by bringing in more predators. They overeat. They deplete the the supply, and the herds have to go elsewhere so that they can survive. But I want to say, I can't remember which national park it was, but they introduced wolves back into the national park, and just by having wolves there, the animal life began to thrive. Like the prey animals were beginning to, like, their populations were growing rather than depleting, and it's because they were controlling the ecosystem. They were like the predators of it that control the ecosystem. These animals are like, so you have to have predators with the prey in order for it to be a functional system. So it's really fascinating, because we always see like predator and prey where it's them attacking each other, but that's also like, that's survival. They're not always fighting. They're not always trying to kill each other. They're not always trying to eat. This is why animals are better hunters than, like us, where some people just kill animals to kill animals. It's like, you're wasting food, but also
they treat it as a sport.
Yeah, that's not hunting. True hunters maintain an ecosystem, maintain wildlife. It's not about taking animal life. It's not even necessarily about gathering food. It's about controlling an ecosystem.
Or just like trophy hunting.
If you're a trophy hunter, I don't want to be your friend.
Well, and that's a problem in Africa. There's a lot of trophy hunters in Africa.
Well, and it's also a shame that because of that, like that is how money is made. Take people out to hunt big game, and it's like, well, now there's not much big game because they've killed them all.
Yeah, like my family, they hunt bear and deer and elk, but they eat every ounce of meat from them.
Same.
Yeah. So, yeah, 100%. Fuck trophy hunters.
Well, and also with that is like they're hunting and eating all of their meat, but also they're only allowed to kill so many, and that's because they have to maintain the system.
Mm-hmm.
See, animals got it right. We start ruining things by taking our own egos into account.
Yeah.
Humans suck. Let's all be lions.
Humans, we are our own worst enemy.
True. Yeah. Ain't that
anybody kind of have a new scene. It's kind of towards the beginning a little bit, but it's been Simba and Nala secretly planned to go to the Shadowlands.
Yeah.
The Shadowlands? Is that what it's called?
The Elephant Graveyard.
The Elephant Graveyard. But what do they call it?
I thought I heard Shadowlands.
What do you call that shadowy place? You must never go there.
Okay. The land of no shadows.
It's all shadows.
I mean,
it's
the land
shadows.
of the land. What is it?
It might be the Shadowlands. Let me look up Lion King 2, because there's quite a bit of that movie that is in that part.
Because I thought it was like Pride Lands and then Shadowlands. Like those were the two. That
might be it, actually. Yeah.
But yeah, so this scene, I just love the child curiosity and like rebelliousness that is within Simba and Nala to like team up, and they're both with their parents, and they're trying to sway both of their parents to, go to the water hole. But then Simba gets the whole, yes, you can go, but Zazu has to go with you, and they're just like, "Aw." And then like the journey that Zazu ends up going on, and just like getting played by Simba and Nala, and he gets Zazu gets like smacked by a boulder, or like smashed under a boulder or something, and that's how the two get away from him.
No, that was a rhino.
Rhino sits on him.
Oh, it's Rhino. Yeah,
that was at the end of I Can't Wait to Be King.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. Because then Simba and Nala, they're play fighting, and which, by the way, I love the little line of like, but that's weird. Like, we're not going to be like boyfriend girlfriend or something, and then like cut to in the future, like they do end up having kids, like, getting married.
Little quick to jump to the friend zone, Simba.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Nala didn't even have a chance.
Yeah. But then so then they're like play fighting, and I love the transition of how they fall into the Shadowlands. And Simba's just like trying to be this like badass, brave cub, and we learn that he is actually really scared once the hyenas come in. It's just like the whole sequence is just, it's really well done, and it really captures a lot of the emotions of these two characters. Mm-hmm. Especially when Mufasa does come in to rescue Simba, which I thought the timing of that was a little too on the nose. I felt like that was like too good to be true, for Mufasa to actually find him at the right time to save him. But yeah, overall, just good.
Zazu got loose. He told him.
Oh, Zazu. Oh, that's right. I completely forgot about that. Yeah,
they never show Zazu telling him, but he's loose, and then he returns with Zazu, and I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah. So Zazu went to tell Mufasa that the cubs were needing help. Right.
I forgot that detail. Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
I found the name. It is known as the Outlands.
Oh, the Outlands.
Outlands.
I like Shadowlands better.
I like Shadowlands better too.
Yeah.
But Outlands, that's what it's going with.
Yeah. This is a personal head scratcher for Jen. I have like faint memories. Did we have a Lion King board game of some kind?
A board game?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Or because I just remember like definitely the Elephant Graveyard there was like a 3D structure to it, and
we did.
We did, right?
Or was it? I had the whole action figure, like of Pride Rock and then the lions. What was it?
Wouldn't you store something in like the Elephant Graveyard, like the
yes,
yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I don't think it was a board game. Okay, I think it was the action figure thing. Because did Pride Rock open up or?
Yeah.
Oh man, as I was watching this movie, I'm like having these like almost spots of visual, like of images in my head of us with a rock and a lion, and I couldn't remember if it was a board game or I know Pride Rock was there. I remember it being kind of tall.
Yeah.
And then I remember something about the Elephant Graveyard, but I don't know if it was a board game or if it was just a bunch of separate like action figures.
Here's one thing that I found that's on eBay for the toy. It looks like when it's closed up, it looks like Pride Rock.
Yeah.
Looks like Pride Rock.
Taco.
But then that looks like cheese from here.
But then you open it up.
I saw the cheese too.
Let me take the blur off just so that it doesn't have to fight anything and get closer. So hold on a second.
Okay.
This was it closed.
Okay.
Pride Rock. and then you open it up, and it's got like little. Sorry, this way. It's got little play scenes. So you've got Elephant Graveyard.
No, that wasn't it. Because
Not this one.
Gray.
Yours was gray, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So you and I are definitely remembering the same thing at this point.
Yeah.
That does look familiar though, Matt. I do like it's clicking a memory in my head. Yeah.
Just looking for it. Yeah. Keep an eye out. I'm gonna look because I remember it. I don't remember the Outlands, like the graveyard or anything, but I do remember having, like, or not having, but the big Pride Rock that you could put toys in.
Yeah. Man, I don't know what it was. I'm just remembering it was like, I mean, you know, everything's bigger when you're a kid, but for some reason I'm remembering it like it, you know, you could put it on your table and it was like about 2 feet high. And I just can't remember if it was a board game or what the heck it was. No, that's way too small.
Okay. I'm finding stuff and going for it, man.
There's probably like hundreds of different toys from
I know.
Lion King.
I think I just wanted to prove or to just get confirmation from Jen that we did have something like that, and I'm not just essentially in my mind at this point.
That's how we did. I don't remember it being a board game. It might have been though.
I don't think it was a board game. The more I think about it, we haven't touched on "Can You Feel the Love Tonight."
It starts off with Timon and Pumbaa singing about how their friend's gonna leave them, and then Simba and Nala go on a nice date at the waterfall, watering hole.
That's right.
Go for a swim, a roll down the hill.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what more there is to say about that other than
we're just gonna leave it.
It's romantic.
What a freaking award, and we're not even gonna talk 5 minutes about this song. I mean,
favorite. Like honestly, it's not one of my favorite scenes.
I'm fair. Same for me. It's not my favorite song. I don't love it. But I will say I'm passionate about the original versus the remake.
And this may sound, I don't know if I'm too off on this, but to me it sounds like they're trying to steal a little bit from the Beauty and the Beast playbook on this one. What I mean is the Beauty and the Beast song, there must be something there wasn't there before. And so it's kind of like, because you know you've got them talking about how they might be getting together and blah blah blah, and then in the Lion King you've got "Can You Feel the Love Tonight," but a lot of the lyrics are basically Timon and Pumbaa freaking out on what's going to happen if they get together, and I'm like, okay, I maybe you're going with, if it worked with Beauty and the Beast, and maybe it'll work here, but again, I could be a little bit off the mark on this one.
I don't understand your connection.
No,
I don't really agree with it. I'm with Jen. Like I don't see the connection. I get what you mean though, where like it's the outside characters that are kind of having a reaction to what the main characters are doing and what they're feeling.
right.
But that's not the vibe of the scene that I get. Like, I mean, that's how it starts and finishes, is like Timon and Pumbaa being like, we're going to lose our friend. And that makes us sad. But once the scene, like the song actually starts, I think it's just like, it's softer and more romantic. Whereas with Beauty and the Beast, it's upbeat, it's fun, it's silly. They're throwing snowballs at each other. It's like whereas it's about the beast softening and opening his heart and like warming up to love.
Mm-hmm.
This is more like old friends reuniting and rekindling a love.
Okay.
Or they're only strangers because of time. Whereas Beauty and the Beast are true strangers.
Right. Okay.
I see where you're drawing your connection. I'm not on that same boat. So
But like I said, I even knew that I might have been missing the mark on this one a little bit, which happens. So, you know,
can't always be like Jen and I, but
no. But I mean, I don't know what it's weird. It wins an Oscar, but Circle of Life, I couldn't stop talking about it. And this one I'm struggling to talk about. what is there to say? They had their moment, and then honestly, that moment ended really abruptly.
Yeah.
That's the one takeaway I noticed is like they were feeling all great until they started to like communicate, and then all of a sudden they were mad at each other and they separated ways. I'm like, well, I don't really feel the love tonight anymore.
You don't feel the love today.
I'm curious if it's the difference between like the song we get in the movie versus the song that's on the soundtrack. Because to me, I don't remember Can You Feel the Love Tonight on any soundtrack of this movie starting or ending with Timon and Pumbaa. Like those lyrics at the start and the tail end of the song feel like they were added for the movie because they make sense for the movie, like to put it into context. But I don't think Elton John wrote the song that way. Like I mean, maybe he did, but like the song that's presented on the soundtrack, the full song, I think is probably totally different, or at least longer and more beautiful.
I don't know the lyrics well enough to weigh in on this.
They're definitely not the same.
I know that. I just don't know like what the.
I just immediately got proven wrong. So I went on to Spotify, typed in "Can You Feel the Love Tonight," and it immediately starts with Timon and Pumbaa. I can see what's happening. What? Sorry, GM joined me on that one. So yeah, but I mean, I don't remember the scene being 3 minutes long either. The song is in fact 2 minutes and 55 seconds, 2 minutes and 57 seconds. So I think there's probably some meat in this song that's been left out of the movie for editing purposes. So I could see like the full song being worthy of an award. I don't know. This is me grasping at straws for like why it's gotten such prominence. Like,
yeah,
because I think we're all kind of in the same boat. Although this is a wonderful and amazing movie, this song is not the song of the movie.
But it's not like so bad that it takes points away.
No, it's not a bad song. It's just not the best song.
Yeah.
You guys have any more scenes or anything?
Just the final one that we haven't talked about yet.
Okay.
The ending of the movie, yeah.
Yeah, the ending.
I love the fight scene.
Oh, it's epic.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, it's just the slow motion clip. I want to know how long that took to make. When Scar and Mufasa are actually like in, on their hind paws and they're, scratching and hitting each other with the flames all around them.
They do a really cool job with the motion blur.
Oh yeah, but even then, like it's just with it being in slow motion, it just adds the epicness to what like their fight means, for the future of the Pride Lands. Yeah, it was just so well done.
What I like about the scene is it starts off dark and ominous. It gets scarier, and just through like natural, like the nature taking course, lightning strikes and causes this fire. Now there's real devastation, and these dry lands are burning. And on the surface, that's terrifying and scary. But after the fight, when things are like, okay, there was thunder, there was lightning, now we have the rain. The rain is washing away the fire. The land is now receiving water that it's desperately been needing. And the lands have kind of been cleansed by the burning, So now fresh grass and things can grow in a more fertile fields. Like it's a brilliant design of how to make a situation scary yet still naturally lead to a positive outcome. And I really like when stories use I'm gonna like I'm gonna be I'm gonna say this, but be careful to describe it. The cleansing with fire, where it's taking something where it's usually somebody has pillaged or destroyed something by setting it on fire, and like it's meant to hurt, it's meant to destroy and cause pain, and somebody comes in with that reminder of, yes, this is bad, this is devastating, this is horrific, but with this disaster there's still life. There will be rebirth. We will rebuild, we will regrow, and we'll be stronger. Like it's I like that kind of mentality of through the ashes we can thrive. You know, we can return, and we can return better. I think it was Brian's hand first.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just to add on with that, it's not only that, it's the rain coming down is almost like the true palate cleanser of we're washing away everything.
Mhm.
It got burnt, and now we're washing it away, and now we can, regrow and move forward, right?
Yeah.
The one of the things that I love most about the final scene is the ultimate callback that they go to. Simba hanging on a ledge and Scar digging his nails into Simba's paws, and you're just like, not again.
Or where have I seen this before?
And exactly. And then the full revealed the truth of what happened to Mufasa. But I guess he wasn't, or Scar wasn't anticipating on Simba having brute strength to overcome it all, which just, I mean, you basically gave him all the adrenaline he needed. All he needed to do was hear that you were the one that killed his father, and you're done. That was, for as smart as you are, Scar, that move wasn't the smartest. But I just love the fact that they did it again. They made it to where he dug his nails in, just like he did the father, and then you just get the complete turnaround. And not to mention, you also got the Simba truly is the better lion than his uncle, which we already knew. And then how they actually ended up taking down Scar is just, it's great. He's talking smack about the hyenas over here, and now he is now about to become the dinner of for multiple hungry hyenas, which is just another ironic circle of life that you yourself put yourself in. So just what a way to end the movie.
Yeah, I just want to make a comment about the whole Scar revealing the truth to Simba that he was the one that killed his father. And I actually like that Scar says this, because villains have a huge ego, and they, before they actually attempt to finish off their enemy, they have to get everything off their chest because it makes them feel better as the villain, as the bad man.
They have to reveal their plan.
He started monologuing.
Yeah, and every villain like that's, they have to do that. They have to let you know.
Yep.
Because it makes them feel better. And so I actually would have been disappointed if Scar did not say that, right? If Scar had just dug his claws into Simba's paws and just threw him off without saying anything. Because then it's like, well, then where's the satisfaction for Scar if he doesn't get to say that to him? So, yeah. And
then like the final ending I thought was just really great, where they're just doing the whole, again, full circle. It's the true circle of life at this point, because now Simba is the father, Nala is the mother, Rafiki is holding up their son, and Timon and Pumbaa are just hanging on top of Pride Rock as well. So I'm like, you guys really did hone in on the circle of life part of this movie for sure.
They have a daughter.
There's a daughter.
It's a daughter.
It's a daughter?
Yeah.
It's a daughter.
Hey.
Kira.
Kira, yeah. She's obnoxious. No, I like you said, you guys brought up the ending of like it is the like this movie could be called The Lion King, The Circle of Life. You know,
Yeah.
it bookends. We've talked about how movies have done this before, where it starts exactly how it ended, and like this movie embodies that thought process, that mentality of the circle of life, and it's absolutely just incredible. But to go back to the fight, the one thing that I really wanted to talk about was when Simba is telling Scar, like Simba is basically won at this moment. He's telling Scar to run, get out. You're gone. I don't care. Never step foot in the Pride Lands again, but you're out. Never come back. And Scar's, like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, I'll never come back. And then he does that whole like your majesty thing. And again, I love the growls, your majesty. And he kicks the ash and the coals up into his face. And now we get our epic slow-mo fight. And like it's really cool what they do. And it's the motion blurs of them throwing the claws at each other, hitting each other. Like, I mean, that is an epic fight. And it's lions fighting like lions would fight.
Yeah.
Slapping each other and biting at each other. Like, it's intense and it's all in slow-mo. Like that is the crazy thing, is like this is the biggest fight of the entire movie and it's all in slow-mo, yet you feel the intensity of it. You feel like, I mean, every smack, every roar of pain, like you're right there with it. It's just like, is he gonna win? Is he gonna win? Like it's nail biter, and they do that so well throughout this movie. And Brian, like you said, with the rains washing it all away, cleansing the earth and starting anew, we start the cycle again. We start the circle of life. And God, I love that it keeps ending on that boom, like that bang. It ends on a bang at both times. I love it so much because it feels powerful. It feels finite. Like this is the end of something, right? Like this is boom, it's over.
Hans Zimmer.
Like it's so good. If nobody has any more scenes, I think it's quotes.
Yep. Just got a few quotes.
I do too. I got 2 quotes.
I didn't write anything down, so no quotes for me.
Brian, if you're counting, I'm just gonna go ahead and drop one of mine.
Sure.
It's when Nala and Simba are wrestling, they're playing around, and I think they end up in the elephant graveyard. But it's, Nala pins him. She goes, "Pinned you," and then he's like, "Ah, yeah, whatever," and then starts fighting her again, and they tossle and roll around. Boom, pinned you again. Like I just, that moment's always fun for me, and just watching Simba get his ass kicked by this girl twice is like, I just can't wait to be king and get your ass kicked by all these girls.
I heard on one of those pins, they ended up smacking JTT in the back
to try to
make it sound like he lost his, he got the wind knocked out of him.
Yeah. I tried to kind of listen for it, and it may have worked, but it's subtle if it did.
It's subtle. You got to put your behind in the past.
Yes. No. You got to put your past behind you.
But really, you just got to put your behind in the past.
Yes. I think Pumbaa had some good misquotes of Timon.
And hope that someone touches the butt.
Oh, call back.
There you go.
Yeah.
Keep that amateur movie out of here.
I've only got one other quote, and it's because of the joke that comes after it. So when Mufasa has his moment with Scar and Zazu, where he's like, "You didn't come to the presentation of Simba," and blah blah blah, and all that good stuff, and Mufasa asks Zazu, like, "What am I gonna do with him?" And Zazu responds with, "He'd make a really nice throw rug." And what
You'd make a
makes
very handsome
it'd
throw
make a
rug.
very handsome throw rug. What makes that joke so great is Hercules, where Hercules is being painted for a portrait where he's wearing a lion as like a headdress that he eventually wipes his face with and throws on the ground. And if you look not that closely, it's very obvious to be Scar. He's got the
That's
scar over the
right.
eye. So it's very funny that actually became a thing in Disney. That Scar became a throw rug.
I also like the follow-up where he says, and just think, every time it gets dirty, you can take it outside and beat it.
Yeah.
All right, so this one definitely, I remember as a kid I would say it a lot. Jen and I would definitely say it to each other just randomly. And it's our good friend Rafiki, and that would be a Sunday squash, a squash banana. I don't know how many times we would say, like, we would just be like eating lunch and it would be like dead silent, and we're just like, a Sunday squash, a squash banana. This is such a fun little quote to say. No idea what we're saying. And then my last one is, before sunrise, he's your son.
Yeah. Classic mom and dad banter.
Yes. Oh, Matt, you saw the cups?
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely had those too.
So I think I want to say it was Burger King that had them, but at one point they had a promotion where it was glass cups that were all Disney themed, and they had whatever stuff printed on them.
Were they were different Disney
movies,
right? Yes, yeah. I remember those too.
We had those for sure.
Yeah, it was like Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, all of them.
Oh, Pocahontas. I think even Mulan might have made it.
Oh,
I can't remember if it was that late. But yes, I remember we had those glasses, and like, I don't know why, but chocolate milk just tasted the best out of those glasses.
Of course.
So good.
But weren't there also cups that were like with the straws that you would like pull them in and out, and then they make that like whistling sound? But then the cups were like the shape of like the characters too.
The bendy straws.
Yeah, it's like the
whistle.
Yeah, like those ones. Yeah, and then there were cups that were made out of cups. Sorry, I put cubs and cups thinking. Anyway, I can't remember if those were like toys from like McDonald's or something, or like maybe from Toys R Us.
I remember they had cups that were in the shape of like Simba and Nala.
Yeah. But at the top they had like that straw, the straw. Yeah. They made like the wind noise whistle. Anyway.
So that's on camera now.
He's reliving his childhood. We can't stop him.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Yeah. You were that annoying kid with the straw and lid, and wherever you went, McDonald's just
probably
walk over and slap that cup off the table. Sorry, man, your son is annoying. I will buy you another cup, but fuck.
Oh man. All right, that's all the quotes I got. This one really isn't that quote. You know, you don't get a lot of
good quotes, but I think we hit them already.
Hakuna Matata probably is your quote of the movie, obviously.
Sarabi. Still my favorite.
Well, there's those puns that the hyenas make about which one of them is my name. They're like, oh, I could go for a cub sandwich.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the one before that was. It was like, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't hungry or something like that. Was that? Yeah.
Well,
there were some good puns.
There was also some of the punnies where I always get confused. I can never remember it, but it's about Nala was trying to tell the story of Simba, and Timon and Pumbaa are just getting so confused. They're like, "Wait, the monkey's the uncle? Wait, who's?" Like that whole wordplay is just, that dialogue is so good. I can never remember it word for word.
The great,
Yeah.
just like who's on first bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it is.
So good. I just
Yeah.
because we didn't talk too much about him, but the hyenas, like Nick, you brought him up. Whoopi Goldberg and Cheech Marin as the hyenas were absolutely hilarious. Those two like cracking jokes back and forth, making each other laugh. Like
Yeah.
their laughter was infectious. Like they were
Well, it
fun.
looked like you were like a cactus butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
Oh, there was a short scene from Timon that we didn't talk about when Simba and them get back to Pride Rock, and they're trying to like create a diversion for the hyenas, and Timon he's like, what do I got to dress up in drag and get their attention? And they're all like, yeah. They just like smash cut to Timon, like, which is funny, like that's what like they think is drag back then. It's like coconut bra with like Hawaiian stuff.
Hawaiian luau.
Yeah, it was like a luau costume basically.
Shark bait.
Yeah. So
And there's just like that 10-second like song bit, and then like the scene.
if you're looking for a hunk of tin tasty meat, I actually don't know those words, but that song is hilarious.
Yeah.
But Nick, if I'm not mistaken, that line of like, "What do you want me to dress in drag and do the luau or something, or do the hula?" That line was apparently ad-libbed by Nathan Lane. So Timon created that bit.
Oh, the more you know.
Yeah. Big shout out to Whoopi Goldberg and Cheech Marin for their roles as the hyenas because they were phenomenal.
Yeah.
Sweet. It's just final thoughts and who won the movie.
Oh Jesus.
I guess I'll go.
All right.
Yeah, final thoughts. Yeah, I think it's a perfect movie. Honestly, like you don't really get to say that a lot these days. I really don't have anything bad to say about it. It's entertaining. The animation is very well done, and even for this film to come out like just before or just as computer generated animation was coming about, like you could tell that hand drawn animation has pretty much been perfected by this point. Like you really can't get any better. And I think that's one of the reasons why like this is really like one of the last greatest hand-drawn movies of all time. Brian, you said it's still the highest grossing hand-drawn animated film, right? Was that the fact you said?
Yeah. It's the highest grossing hand-drawn animated.
Hand-drawn. And I think that speaks volumes to the quality of the work. And that you just won't get films like this anymore. And that holds like a certain place for a film to be like in the perfect spot, because it really is unique. And voice actors are amazing, the characters are amazing, the story is amazing, the musical numbers pretty much all amazing. And for what wins the movie, boy, I mean, it's got to go to the animation. Like I don't know, like it's the animators, like they win the film.
All right. So final thoughts. I mean, how good is The Lion King? It is an absolute incredible film. Came out the same year as Forrest Gump. It fell 17 million shy in gross of Forrest Gump. That's how big this movie was and is. And I mean, it was just so much fun breaking it down and talking with you guys. This is definitely the type of movie. I don't know when I'll be a father, but sometime in this life I will be a father, and this is a movie I can't wait to share with kids, because we're so far down the road that a lot of people just don't really talk about Lion King. So it's like it's up to us to keep the fire burning here and And this is one where I'm like, oh my God, family movie night, and we're watching Lion King. I will be a kid all over again. And I just really, really look forward to it. I dreaded this. I don't know who won the movie. Everybody, you're all winners. Like, so much pressure on this one. My honorable mention is going to be Rafiki. Just not a lot of scene time, but when he's in it, boy, is he crushing it. Every scene he's in, you definitely want to learn more about Rafiki and hang out with him more. As far as who won the movie, I got to give it to Jeremy. Jeremy Irons co-wins it with James Earl Jones, because these two voice actors just dominated their performance on the screen. I just unbelievable. Jeremy Irons as Scar, what a performance. And then we couldn't stop bragging about James Earl Jones as Mufasa. So those are gonna be my picks.
So one, I wanted to apologize for earlier. I think I got the name wrong. But the voice actor for Pumbaa is Ernie Sabella or Sabella. I'm going to go with Sabella. But I just think I was wrong with that. I mentioned Jim Cummings. I think I'd said that he was the voice of Pumbaa, and that is incorrect. He is Ed and Scar. But for final thoughts, I mean, you guys have pretty much said it, and we've said it ourselves. Like, it's a phenomenal movie. It's timeless. There's a reason that this movie is as good now as it was in 1994. It's just incredible. As far as who wins the movie, I fight myself. The voice acting is pretty incredible. But I'll give honorable mentions to Jeremy Irons and what was his name again? Robert Gulami. I feel so weird saying that name. I think it's so wrong. But I mean, James Earl Jones, all of them, literally every voice actor crushed it. They did phenomenal job. So huge shout outs to really all of them. But for me, what still wins this is animation. It is a beautiful movie. The amount of storytelling that's done without any voice acting being necessary, it's just gorgeous. It's just so beautiful and well animated, well designed, start to finish. It's incredible. So that's who wins it for me, animation department.
We are one, Matt.
So final thoughts. Oh, I love The Lion King. It's always been one of my favorites, and now I fully understand why. Rewatching it now. And what wins it for me is I have to say, even though my mind goes in several different areas, but the weather and changing of the seasons wins it for me. It always has. Like, whenever we mentioned at the end, like when it began to rain and cleanse the fire, even when I was younger, that scene just stuck out to me. So we're sticking with it. That wins it.
That wraps it up for The Lion King, and I say phenomenal success. Our top rated movie of all time so far, and it's going to be a tough one. Who knows the next time we roll another all fives across the board. Like, that's wow. What yeah, wow. Just it happened. It finally happened after 3 years of doing this. Like, nuts. Yeah, that wraps it up for The Lion King. Nick, you've got our next pick. Do you know what next week is going to be?
I do, yes. We're going to watch a film, an animated film on Netflix. It's called A Whisker Away. It's for you cat lovers out there. You'll probably like it.
Yeah, I had to look it up. I am not familiar with this. It came out just a few years ago, so it's relatively new. So this would be interesting. I know nothing about this.
Yeah.
Is it the anime types we were talking about last time? Like Spirited?
Yeah, I believe it is an anime film, so it's still a part of Animation August.
Yeah.
But I just kind of wanted something a little different that wasn't like Disney.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that'll be great. I like that it's going to be something new, and it's different animation style. So this will be interesting, different storytelling.
Yeah, it's not going to get all fives like The Lion King. So just be aware. I'm not trying to up this one.
I don't think that's possible. We're gonna have to like suck for a good while before we're like, yeah, now my movie is really good, and then Jeff's gonna just chime in and be like, yeah, but it's no Lion King.
Yeah, see, like now we have that standard. You know,
this is not standard. This is not standard.
Yeah,
we've just reached the peak. But all right. So that wraps it up for this week of Good Flickas, talking about The Lion King. Tune in next week to chat about A Whisker Away, streaming on Netflix. And if you're looking for any of our other content, check us out on YouTube at GoodFlickas. You can follow us on Instagram at good.flickas. And you can check us out here on Mondays for the live show at GoodFlickas on twitch.tv. If you have any questions, any fun things you'd like to share with us, give us some advice, or just, tell us we're awesome. You can send us an email at goodflickas2020@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. But other than that, I think that's going to wrap it up for us. I'm going to hand it over to Brian to close us out.
Yep. Our movie fam, we hope you enjoyed the deep dive of into the meaning of the circle of life. And we will see you next week. Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata.
I knew you were going to end with that.
You had to.
I would love if like Chick-fil-A workers started saying Hakuna Matata instead of my pleasure. Is that just me? I don't know.
It's very specific, like Chick-fil-A.
Well, because their thing is like they always say my pleasure, because like they have to say that before you leave like the drive-through.
I think if I ever start getting opportunities to say no worries, which I tend to get a lot, I think I might start dropping Hakuna Matata and see what happens.
I think that would be like a positive mood shift for anybody you say it to.
Yeah.
I just hear
thank you for taking out the trash. Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata.
Yeah.
Like that guy really has his life together.
Yeah.
He's got it all figured out.
Like when you're a paramedic.
Yeah.
Like, thanks for saving my life. Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata. Big poke.